Chapter 370. It was not a long time to practice Killer Deity. Practicing the motionless wisdom scripture took a full 5 days before Lin Fei was able to visualize the motionless wisdom king. This was the problem of aptitude. The former Lin Fei for 5 years. The strength has been stagnant. This is the best proof. If not for Lin Fei from the earth to occupy the body and obtain the system, he would not be able to reach this realm in his life, even powerful combat power. 5 days to visualize the Akala King is already an extremely difficult thing. This aptitude is really good. No wonder the cultivation stagnated. Lin Fei secretly said it took him 5 days to comprehend. If the aptitude is good, plus the comprehension, visualizing the Akala King will definitely be very easy. Sinking his heart, Lin Fei looked into the depths of the sea of consciousness. As usual, the shrunken Lin Fei, sitting cross-legged in the void, only to see Lin Fei pinch a seal. Behind the void, suddenly appeared a huge Akala King, like a towering mountain. At the same time, a heavy breath shrouded Lin Fei. This is the Akala King that Lin Fei visualized. Akala King, good at defense as long as the mind moved, can summon the Akala King, become one's strongest defense. In addition, the continuous visualization, the soul will become more solid, more powerful. From this visualization technique, Lin Fei already knew a little about the situation. For example, the cultivation of the soul must have the visualization method. The strength of the visualization technique had a huge impact on the spirit. A strong spirit could withstand the enemy's divine sense attack, but if the spirit was weak, it would definitely be at a disadvantage when encountering this kind of secret technique attack. If the spirit was unlucky, it might even lose its life. The seemingly simple visualization method is very important. In order to thoroughly master the visualization method and visualize the Akala King, Lin Fei continued to visualize again, spent another 3 days, felt that it was enough, then stopped. 11 days quietly passed. Now that the strength has reached the strongest peak state, it is time to challenge the fairy immortal test. When he opened his eyes again, Lin Fei felt that his strength had advanced by leaps and bounds. Whoosh! More than 1,200 superior grade numinous treasures appeared behind Lin Fei. After cultivating his spiritual sense, he no longer felt any pressure controlling superior grade numinous treasures. It was relatively easy. With the current strength of my divine sense, I can display the 3rd or even the 4th level. Lin Fei pointed forward. Go. Thousands of flying swords struck the stone house like a white waterfall. Crash! Under the attack of total annihilation, the huge stone house was reduced to nothingness. Not even the slightest remnant was left behind. This is the 3rd floor. Lin Fei thought, I wonder if I can succeed in the 4th level. Crash! Lin Fei activated the 4th level. Although one was at the 3rd level and the other was at the 4th level, their power was not on the same level. Whether it would work or not, Lin Fei himself was not sure. Go! Total annihilation, level 4. He used his divine sense to control the flying swords as if there were thousands of him. It was a wonderful feeling. Lin Fei could feel that, except for the stagnation in the middle, although it was not visible, he could still feel it. Then he displayed the 4th level. It's done! Lin Fei beamed with joy. I didn't expect to display the 4th level so soon. One was at the 3rd level, and the other was at the 4th level. Lin Fei was delighted. His trip to Senfu had greatly increased his strength, which was beyond his original expectations. Just cultivating the divine sense was already monstrous enough. Of course, with millions of drops of spiritual liquid, even a pig could cultivate it. In addition, the divine sense secret art was rarely seen. Every book that appeared was shockingly expensive. With just a trip to the immortal mansion, he had easily obtained it and truly grasped it. Total annihilation has reached the 4th level, and with the divine sense, I can probably kill those emperor-level monsters just by using the divine sense secret art. Let's go through the sky immortal test first. There are so many treasures in the treasure depository. If I become the successor, what will I get? Lin Fei licked his lips, full of fighting spirit. Lin Fei searched all the other stones in the treasure depository and didn't gain much, which was expected. As for the rest, Lin Fei didn't care at all. This is the passage for the Sky Immortal test? Soon, Lin Fei appeared at the end of the hall, in front of a passage. The dark passage was filled with endless mysteries. The treasure depository. Lin Fei searched everywhere, but this was the most mysterious place. The Sky Immortal test should be inside. Lin Fei was sure. Apart from this place, there was no other treasure depository. Sky Immortal test, here I come. With the wings of the wind, Lin Fei turned into a stream of light and rushed in. When he rushed into the dark passage, the passage lit up. On both sides of the passage, there were a large number of bones and scattered objects. Are these the challengers? On both sides of the passage, there were bones everywhere. From the color of the bones, it wasn't hard to tell how old the bones were. Of course, the age had to be calculated in hundreds of years. The spirit treasures left beside the bones had long become scrap metal with the passage of time. The power of the spirit treasures had long been lost, so they naturally became useless. As he walked in, the number of bones was the same as before. On some of the bones, Lin Fei could clearly see that there were clear wounds on the bones. Lin Fei already felt the pressure. If this is the Sky Immortal test, there should only be 10 in 1,000 years and only 100 in 10,000 years. According to the situation, there shouldn't be so many bones in the passage, right? Lin Fei guessed. The number of bones in the passage was not less than 100. Because of this, the Sky Immortal test was already covered with a layer of unknown and mystery. As he flew along the passage, Lin Fei began to be on guard. Small square. At the end of the passage, there was a clear view. It turned out to be a small square. Seeing the small square, Lin Fei was even more on guard. In the center, there was a man in black wearing battle armor, and on the surrounding stone slabs, there were white bones. Voila! Before he could step out, the passage behind him closed. A mysterious force was released, cutting off Lin Fei's path of retreat. At the same time, the man in black, who had been motionless, suddenly opened his eyes. He was expressionless, without any emotions. That cold aura with indifference was like a god of death. Defeat me. Defeat me. The cold voice echoed in the small square. Puppet. He was actually a puppet. Lin Fei was shocked. This place was guarded by a puppet, and a very powerful one at that. Voila! The man in black was very fast, and a black light pierced over like a poisonous snake. The water fire lotus appeared in front of Lin Fei, and with a light block, the ripples continued. The second sword pierced the water fire lotus, and the sword light went straight for Lin Fei's forehead. Too fast. Even though Lin Fei had comprehended the concept of wind, facing such a fast assassination, he understood why there were so many people in the small square. They were probably all killed suddenly. Lin Fei did not panic, and with his strongest defense, the azure dragon true body, he grabbed the sword light with his huge cyan palm. Sparks burst, and he blocked this fatal sword. Even so, Lin Fei clearly felt that the opponent's sword was emitting the power of a spiritual treasure, and it left a white mark on his palm. What a powerful spiritual treasure! Ordinary spiritual treasures cannot leave a mark on my body, but the spiritual treasure of the puppet did. Lin Fei's heart tightened. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh! The man in black stabbed again with his left hand, and it was a short sword, and cold light shot out. At such a distance, Lin Fei could feel the danger of the short sword. This sword was definitely not an ordinary item. Naturally, Lin Fei did not want to take it head-on, especially when this was a test left by a Sky Immortal. If he underestimated it, who knew what would happen? Bang! The man in black was sent flying. Destroy! With the killing sword in hand, Lin Fei used the concept of metal. Facing the ferocious puppet, Lin Fei used the all-conquering concept of metal. Bang! An annihilation attack turned into a massive sun and landed on the puppet's body. The puppet's body gave off a ray of black light, blocking most of the attack, causing Lin Fei to feel quite startled. Damn, this puppet is so strong. Lin Fei was well aware of how horrifying the earlier state sword technique was. However, the puppet managed to block it. He had not defeated the puppet as he had expected. Its defense is so monstrous. Whoosh, 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 Lin Fei appeared behind the puppet and struck it with his palm. He only dared to do this because he had the Azure Dragon True Body. This punch was used by a tempered body cultivator. The puppet's body shook and there was a cracking sound. Lin Fei was delighted. This puppet is not afraid of Qi Refiner's attacks. Instead, it can't withstand the attacks of tempered body cultivators. Lin Fei finally relaxed when he found out that he had succeeded on his first try. Lin Fei was already very strong in close combat. With his punches and kicks and speed, he kept inflicting heavy damage on the puppet, even though it was very fast, almost as fast as the concept of metal. Lin Fei was one step ahead, so he could suppress it. Break! Lin Fei closed in again and punched the puppet's chest with a powerful true essence. Crack! Crack! Under such a punch, the puppet was sent flying and crashed heavily into the rock wall. It was unable to move, and a sunken hole appeared on its chest. Lin Fei saw clearly that there was an energy formation there. Clatter! On the opposite side of the square, a stone door opened. Did I pass the first level? The process seemed fast, but it was very dangerous. More dangerous than ordinary enemies. This puppet's strength should be around king level. However, it was made with a special method. It can resist the attacks of Qi Refiners. Those who don't know will die when they face this puppet. Seeing the puppet lose its combat ability, Lin Fei admired the person who made it. If he hadn't learned the Azure Dragon True Body, it wouldn't have been so easy. I wonder if this puppet can be repaired. If it can be repaired and the formation inside is changed, it might be a good helper. Or I can sell it for a high price. Lin Fei was very envious. Chapter 371. P.S. Thank you to Luo Yuxuan for the tip. Lin Fei thought to himself, but his hands did not stop moving. He stored the puppet that had lost its ability to fight in the system. This is only the first stage, and the test is already so difficult. The later stages will probably be extremely dangerous. Fortunately, I learned the Azure Dragon True Body. Otherwise, it would be difficult for me to withstand such a powerful puppet. Even a perfected King Stage warrior would die a bitter death in a battle between King Stage puppets. After storing the puppet, Lin Fei continued to maintain his dragonization state. What would the second stage be? Lin Fei was not sure. The only thing he knew was that the next few stages would be more difficult. After passing the plaza, the tunnel was still littered with corpses. However, Lin Fei soon noticed something different. On the ground of the tunnel, the corpses were huge. They were not human corpses. There were very few human corpses. Most of the corpses that appeared were fiend corpses. Could it be that those who made it to the second stage were all fiends? As Lin Fei looked at the corpses, many questions popped up in his mind. The fiend race's physical bodies are strong. They did have a great advantage over the humans when they encountered the first puppet. However, aren't there too many fiend race corpses? This explanation passed. The second question began to arise. Could the test left behind by a celestial immortal be useful to the fiends? Furthermore, the fiends do not necessarily have to come to participate in the test of the human celestial immortal's inheritance. The fiends themselves are strong. A human celestial immortal, no matter how strong, is nothing to the fiends. Any random celestial immortal of the fiends can kill a human celestial immortal. Lin Fei continued thinking. For the fiends to come wave after wave, this celestial immortal senfu is definitely not an ordinary senfu. It must be famous. Thinking of this, Lin Fei was at a loss. Logically speaking, since the immortal abode had attracted so many great demons, its reputation should be extremely resounding. It shouldn't be so unknown and unknown. If senfu was famous, Lin Fei would be able to get wind of it. Celestial immortal Deadwoods, senfu wasn't very famous. If one didn't personally hear about the senfu, no one would even know that the senfu existed on the battlefield of the dynasty. No matter how hard Lin Fei thought about it, he couldn't think of any reason. He could only hide his doubts in his heart. I don't care who he is. It has nothing to do with me. Lin Fei thought so and felt relieved. At the same time, in the distant void world, in the boundless void, there was a large black ship that was tens of thousands of meters long. There was a large black flag on the ship that fluttered back and forth. There were 2 large golden words, Mu Clan, embroidered on the flag. It was like a huge mountain, giving off a shocking aura as it sailed forward. Inside the ship's cabin, singing and dancing could be heard as the courtesans danced. Upon closer inspection, each of the courtesans was like a celestial fairy. They were young and beautiful, causing one's eyes to light up. What was even rarer was that all of them had reached the emperor level. A group of emperor-level singers. It was truly a grand gesture. The courtesans were emperor level, while the servants around them were at least king level. Any one of them would be a major figure in the outside world, especially the emperor-level singers. In a minor dynasty, they would undoubtedly be powerful experts. They would stand guard over a minor dynasty and be worshipped by tens of thousands of people. At the head of the table sat a white-robed young man with a dignified appearance and delicate features. His entire body emanated an indescribably majestic aura. His golden eyes were like the eyes of a celestial god, and his divine might was so great that no one dared to look directly at him. "Young master, we need roughly a day before we reach Senfu," the white-robed young man said calmly. "Send out the order to advance at full speed. I want to reach Senfu by tomorrow morning. This time, I want to take down Senfu. I want to complete the mission given to me by the clan." His tone was unquestionable. "Young master, you will definitely succeed this time." The middle-aged servant said, "The senfu left behind by the Eternal Emperor was luckily inherited by Deadwood. Unfortunately, Deadwood's talent was poor, and he only reached the celestial immortal realm after cultivating for 3,000 years. Afterwards, he offended a true immortal and was killed, leaving behind senfu. Unfortunately, his descendants were even less talented and were unable to inherit senfu. In fact, no one even knows the true origins of senfu. This time, young master, you will seize senfu. Given your talent, you will definitely become an eternal emperor in the future." The white-robed young man laughed. "The senfu of the eternal emperor. I'm really looking forward to it. After all, the eternal emperor only became an emperor because he possessed the senfu. He was an ancient existence who lived for 3 entire epochs, and he also obtained the method to refine senfu. As long as he kills the person who holds the celestial immortal key, he will truly become the master of the senfu. I'm afraid those geniuses of the dynasties really think that the senfu left behind by celestial immortal Deadwood must undergo the senfu test. A bunch of ignorant fools. The senfu of the eternal emperor will belong to my long sky woodland." A second public square appeared. 2 puppets, one black and one white. Lin Fei was prepared. Upon seeing the puppets, he immediately attacked. 2 water flame lotuses appeared, trapping the 2 puppets. Lin Fei unfurled his wings of the wind and appeared in front of the puppets, stabbing forward with the killing sword in his hand. Ding! Lin Fei's all-out attack only left a white mark on his opponent's body. Walla! Walla! The water flame lotuses broke apart, and the 2 puppets charged out. The black puppet on the left punched out, while the puppet on the right floated backwards. With a wave of its hand, it unleashed a sword art. An icy aura suddenly descended, and the small public square turned white. Lin Fei's feet were instantly frozen. Crack! This punch was extremely ferocious. Even though he was in the dragon form state, Lin Fei still felt pain. The combat prowess of an emperor and its close combat. It's even stronger than the previous puppets. Lin Fei analyzed the two puppets. One was an emperor body refiner. The other was an emperor chi practitioner. One was a long-range attack, while the other was an attack. It was the perfect combination. If he was attacked by both of them, he might be killed on the spot. The Celestial Immortal test is all puppets. Such a puppet must be expensive. Lin Fei thought, let's get rid of this puppet first. Lin Fei shook, shaking off the solid ice, and threw a punch forward. Bang! A huge shockwave instantly shattered the surrounding ice. The two were evenly matched. In the first level, Lin Fei had already expected the horror of the second level. It was no longer surprising that the puppet could block his punch with all his strength. Total Annihilation, Level 4. In the dragon form state, Lin Fei could ignore the attacks of the white puppet, but he had to get rid of this puppet first. Lin Fei used a big move. More than 1,200 flying swords, all of which were superior-grade spiritual treasures, were extremely powerful. With a swoosh, the sword array was like a white dot, directly hitting the black puppet. Dang, dang, dang! The black puppet was sent flying. Chapter 372. Fortunately, Lin Fei had already cultivated divine sense and reached the 4th level of total annihilation. Lin Fei was satisfied that he had broken through the black puppet's defenses with a single total annihilation attack. He was not afraid of not being able to break through the black puppet's defenses. Total annihilation. Lin Fei once again used total annihilation and kept bombarding the black puppet. Now that he could control it with divine sense, he was not worried about running out of energy. Boom! Boom! The white puppet's attacks kept falling on Lin Fei, and the dragon scales on its body kept flying off. Lin Fei did not care about this at all and used total annihilation with all his strength. After 4 times of total annihilation, the black puppet had already broken a huge hole and could see the array outside. Lin Fei's fist landed on the black puppet, and a loud "Kacha" sound was heard. It was directly sent flying and landed on the ground, unable to move. Finally, one down. Lin Fei finally breathed a sigh of relief. This black puppet was more powerful than he had imagined. Fortunately, he had the Azure Dragon True Body, otherwise humans would definitely die. Crash! The ice on his body broke again, and Lin Fei used total annihilation and swept it directly at the white puppet. The white puppet kept releasing icy sword chi, which formed white walls. The white walls were easily blasted apart by total annihilation and landed on the opponent's body. Chi practitioner is easy to deal with. Lin Fei quickly approached and punched the chest, sending it flying. Water and fire lotus. The lotus landed on the white puppet's body and trapped it for a moment. Then Lin Fei activated total annihilation once again and sent the white puppet flying, completely losing its ability to fight. Crash! The second stone door opened again. Lin Fei breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, the 2 puppets were dealt with. As for the 2 puppets, Lin Fei did not hesitate and directly put them into the system space. Such good things should not be wasted like this. Xiao Chun thought back to the earlier battle. It was all because of the Azure Dragon True Body and his breakthrough, sweeping away 1,000 soldiers. Otherwise, it would not have ended so easily. Fortunately, I have broken through to divine sense and can control superior-grade numinous treasures. My total annihilation has also reached the 4th level. Lin Fei thought to himself, I really don't know how many more trials there are. If each one is more difficult than the last, I'm afraid I'm not fated to enter Senfu. The 2 stages had consumed a lot of true essence. For the next few levels, Lin Fei really didn't have much confidence. Right now, he could only take it one step at a time. If it really didn't work, he could only use the great teleportation talisman. When he walked into the tunnel again, there were already very few corpses on the ground. Not as many as before. This time, Lin Fei did not walk for long. Soon he appeared in a huge square. When he appeared in the square, Lin Fei's pupils shrank and he was shocked. No wonder I didn't see any corpses in the passageway. So the corpses are all here. Lin Fei was shocked. Could this be the final stage? Standing on the square, Lin Fei calmed himself down. Challenger, you're here. In the middle of the square, on top of the round stone altar, a Tenjong tall black monster appeared. When it appeared, Lin Fei's heart tightened. That cold gaze sent chills down one's spine. Such a terrifying gaze. It can actually make one's heart turn cold. With just one look, Lin Fei felt endless fear. What kind of gaze is this? Why is there such a terrifying existence in the 3rd stage? Even if it's an emperor-level expert or even a profound sect expert, they wouldn't be able to give me such a dangerous aura. Lin Fei knew that he had met a powerful warrior. The cold voice also made Lin Fei's heart shake. You are the guardian? Lin Fei said in a deep voice. Challenger, as long as you defeat me, you will have the right to refine Senfu. The black monster's eyes were cold, without a trace of emotion. Bring out your full strength. It has been 5,000 years since someone came to challenge this stage. You are the only one in these 5,000 years. Lin Fei was shocked once again. He was the first in 5,000 years. How was this possible? Lin Fei was truly puzzled. Was it really that difficult to pass this trial? The Xiantian continent was so vast and filled with geniuses. There had to be some powerful geniuses who could make it to this stage, right? Faced with this unknown monster, Lin Fei hid all his thoughts in his heart. God killer. Since the opponent had spoken, Lin Fei naturally wouldn't believe that it was joking. From the moment they first met, Lin Fei firmly believed that this monster was even more powerful than him. Whether or not he could defeat it was still an unknown. Lin Fei's first attack was the recently completed God Killer technique. He would give his opponent a fatal blow, then combine it with a total annihilation. This was his most powerful attack. In the depths of his consciousness, Lin Fei's soul formed a seal, and in the middle of it was the word God. Instantly, an armored god general appeared. This was the God Killer technique focus. Next, Lin Fei's total annihilation technique appeared. More than 1,200 flying swords formed a white streak of light that shot towards the black monster. The black monster was expressionless. It remained in a cold state. Although it is low, its combat ability is very strong. The black monster spoke, allowing the attacks to land on its body. The black monster's body exploded with a black light, and when the 1,000 flying swords landed on it, they couldn't even move an inch. It was as if they had encountered something extremely tough and were knocked away. My godly sense technique, how can you be fine? Lin Fei was shocked and couldn't help but ask. The first time he used God Killer, he had thought that he would be able to injure the black monster. But the result was the opposite. The monster wasn't affected at all by the godly sense technique. Lin Fei had more or less suffered quite a blow. Your godly sense technique is indeed very powerful. Even a Qi practitioner with the power of a profound sect would be heavily injured by you if their soul isn't strong enough. But I am just a puppet created by my master. I don't have a soul, so your attacks are useless against me. As for this sword formation, it is indeed a very powerful attack, but it is still useless against me. Hearing this, Lin Fei was completely stunned. This black monster was created by someone else? How was that possible? If someone else created a puppet, Lin Fei could believe that there were all sorts of geniuses in this continent, and there were also many geniuses who studied all sorts of things. There were many who studied puppets. Lin Fei wasn't surprised that a puppet like this would appear in a senfu. For someone who could become a sky immortal, buying a few puppets was like playing around. But this black monster before him, Lin Fei couldn't believe it. It was created by someone else. To be able to create a monster whose combat ability was no weaker than a profound sect, what kind of ability was needed? More importantly, this monster didn't have a soul and was purely created. Lin Fei was truly astonished that it could be refined to look like a human. Whether it was in terms of defense or soul, it was invulnerable. How could one attack it? Damn it! Lin Fei cursed in his heart. It can even bounce off the 4th level of total annihilation. If the divine sense secret technique doesn't work, then how can I pass the Sky Immortal test? No, the Sky Immortal test definitely wasn't set up by that Sky Immortal Kumu. No matter how powerful he is, he can't create a puppet of this level. Lin Fei suddenly thought of one point. Sky Immortals were very strong, and Lin Fei didn't think it would be too difficult to buy a few puppets. But in the central region, all the treasure halls had so many puppets guarding them. Could a Sky Immortal do it? Lin Fei didn't believe it. Even if a Sky Immortal worked himself to death, he might not be able to get all of them. Speaking of puppets, there were more than 100 treasure halls, which meant more than 300 puppets. Although Lin Fei didn't know the exact price of the puppets, a simple calculation was no less than 50 million yuan crystals. This was just a rough estimate, and the actual price was definitely more than that. More than 300 puppets would be more than 10 billion yuan crystals. Including the monster guarding them, it would be more than 50 billion yuan crystals. Lin Fei didn't believe that this Sky Immortal Kumu had such a net worth. Then there was only one explanation. Why would there be puppets here and such a powerful black monster? Someone in Senfu had set it up beforehand. Sky Immortal Kumu was just one of them. This explanation was the most reasonable one. It wasn't easy for Lin Fei to think of this. If Senfu didn't belong to this Sky Immortal Kumu, then who left behind such a Senfu and who set up such a test and why? Lin Fei felt that he was just a little bit away from guessing the answer. Really, just a little bit. If this is your strength, then I'm sorry to say that you'll stay here and keep them company, said the black monster. These corpses, without exception, were all powerhouses when they were alive. The weakest among them was Mystique Sect, and the strongest was Mystique Venerable Rank. You're the weakest among them. Mystique Sect is the weakest. Mystique Venerable Rank is the strongest. Lin Fei muttered to himself. Terrifying, truly terrifying. This isn't as simple as Senfu. Whether it's Mystique Sect or Mystique Venerable Rank, they're all powerhouses on the continent. There's no need for them to come just for a Senfu. Can you tell me, what is the purpose of this Senfu test? Lin Fei asked a very stupid question. The black monster raised its head. It's been a long time since anyone asked this question. Seeing that you're the only person to pass this test in 5,000 years, I can tell you, this immortal mansion was built by my master, the Eternal Emperor. My master, the Eternal Emperor, was an immortal emperor, a powerful immortal emperor of the heavenly world. This immortal mansion was used by the Eternal Emperor to accept disciples. Unfortunately, tens of thousands of years have passed and no one has become a true disciple of the Eternal Emperor. Eternal Emperor, Celestial Realm, accepted disciples. Lin Fei was completely dumbfounded. Although he had already guessed it, Lin Fei did not expect that this Senfu had such a powerful background. The Celestial Realm strength could not be differentiated. Just by hearing the title of Immortal Emperor, he knew that the other party must be an extraordinary existence. An immortal emperor known as Eternal Emperor had left behind such a Senfu. Lin Fei finally understood. No wonder there were countless corpses in the passageway. They were all to inherit the Eternal Emperor's mantle. No wonder there were so many treasure vaults. They were probably all made by this Eternal Emperor. No wonder this monster was so powerful. It was also the Eternal Emperor's handiwork. Lin Fei finally understood why he felt uneasy when he first entered. It turned out that there was such a background. Chapter 373. P.S. Thanks to Luo Yuxuan for the tip. Rumble. In the void world, a huge warship sailed past and stopped in a corner of the void. The huge black war flag fluttered without any wind, giving off an imposing aura. Young master, we're here. On the bow deck, the white-clothed young master stood proudly. Link the void point and enter the dynasty battlefield. Any of the 3,000 major worlds, 3,000 minor worlds, and any open spaces had a space point. When one reached a certain level of strength and knew the space point, one would be able to enter space or even a world without the help of external forces. One had to have the strength of a celestial immortal. Of course, loose immortals were fine as well, but they had to be powerful loose immortals. It was extremely difficult for both celestial immortals and loose immortals to reach this level, much less the dimensional juncture behind it. Most powers didn't even know about the dimensional juncture, much less enter it. After finding the spatial point and connecting it, one would be able to enter a certain space. Boom! The black warship transformed into a stream of light and shot forward. A portal appeared out of thin air. This was a spatial point, also known as a spatial gate. Although it was easy to link spatial points, it was actually very difficult to operate. In the eyes of the white-dressed man, it was only a matter of a few words. A black warship appeared in the clear sky. When the warship appeared, an invisible pressure enveloped the warship. It was as if the warship was going to be crushed to pieces, and it was on the verge of collapsing. What a powerful dynasty battlefield! Mu Zhongkong waved his hand and kept the warship. This heaven-crushing warship of mine actually couldn't withstand the pressure of the dynasty battlefield. But it didn't disappoint me. The fact that the Eternal Emperor hid his immortal estate within the dynasty battlefield is truly unexpected. No wonder there were so many geniuses who wanted to inherit the Eternal Emperor's immortal estate back then. Regardless of humans or demons, all of them were like moths flying into a flame, rushing forward wave after wave. But in the end, all of them turned into a pile of bones. Young master, Senfu is about 5 million miles away from us. To the left and right of Long Sky stood 2 servants, one black and one white. Let's go and meet the legendary Eternal Emperor Senfu. Mu Zhongkong waved his hand, unleashing a powerful technique that allowed him to enter the void. Inside the Senfu passage, Lin Fei almost crashed. Mother Her, the immortal emperors and the heaven realm had all come out. If I'm unlucky, I won't be able to get anything. But once I'm lucky, I'll be able to get the Senfu refined by an immortal emperor. If I had this luck on Earth, I would have been a millionaire by buying the lottery. Lin Fei cursed in his heart. What luck? Why didn't it come when it shouldn't have? Why did it have to come when it shouldn't have? The Senfu of an immortal emperor. Immediately, a chill ran down his spine. Damn it, we're in big trouble now. Lin Fei panicked. In the novels, the immortal emperor is a powerful existence. How am I supposed to fight if he refined such a monster to guard the pass? His strongest attack couldn't hurt his opponent at all. Damn it, the black monster was invincible. If he were to fight against an invincible monster, it would be like a blind man trying to light a lamp in vain. Even if I can't beat him, I can't just leave. Lin Fei rolled his eyes and suddenly had an idea. He quietly activated the teleportation talisman and prepared to leave Senfu. The Senfu of an immortal emperor, I don't want it. Lin Fei's good life had just begun. He didn't want to die in the hands of the black monster. It didn't matter if he had the Senfu or not. Moreover, his harvest was already enough. Damn, why can't I activate it? Lin Fei almost vomited blood. How could the teleportation talisman fail at such a crucial moment? Challenger, once you enter this passage, No teleportation item will be able to be used. The black monster said, "You already know the origin of the Senfu. It's a pity that you can't defeat me. I can only send you down to accompany them." Damn it, this black monster was about to make its move. Bang! Just as Lin Fei had this thought, the black shadow in front of him moved. He felt an intense pain as he slammed into the stone wall of the square. How can it be so strong? Lin Fei's blood and qi were in turmoil. He looked down at his chest and saw a fist imprint. He was completely dumbfounded. Wasn't this black monster a little too terrifying? Water Fire Lotus. The black monster moved again. Lin Fei condensed the Water Fire Lotus to trap the black monster. With a wave of his hand, he stabbed the black monster's body with the sky-raising finger. Strengthened version. 10,000 essence force. Rumble, damn it, 10,000 essence force. You are going to be injured, right? Lin Fei stood up. Without caring about the consequences, he activated the sword formation again. 2 sword lights, one from the front and one from the back, attacked. The black monster was too strong. Lin Fei had no choice but to use his strongest attack. So, the black monster actually rushed out again. With a swing of its 2 palms, 2 sword lights flew out. The huge force almost made Lin Fei lose control. Under this attack, his divine sense was almost shattered. Lin Fei's spiritual sense had been attached to more than 1,200 flying swords, allowing him to control them as he pleased. In the end, the black monster's attack injured his spiritual sense, nearly shattering it. Weak, too weak. Why did these words sound so familiar? It wasn't something I used to say in the past. The black monster slammed its palm down again. Lin Fei didn't dare to take it head-on and retreated. Unexpectedly, the opponent was faster and slapped Lin Fei's body. Pfft! Lin Fei couldn't hold it in and spat out a mouthful of blood. The Azure Dragon True Body actually suffered a huge wound. Fresh blood flowed out. Around the wound, a layer of black energy covered it, preventing the body from recovering. Body-tempering cultivation techniques had powerful close combat abilities, followed by powerful recovery abilities. Why were Qi practitioners not a match for body practitioners? It was because of the fast recovery ability of body practitioners. Over time, the outcome would be clear. Qi practitioners had always been afraid of body practitioners. What should I do? What should I do? Lin Fei thought, if this continues, no matter how strong the Azure Dragon True Body is, I will still be killed by the Guardian. I must think of a way. Otherwise, I'm really done for. The black monster attacked twice, and he was injured. The difference was obvious. Now, the Azure Dragon True Body had a flaw, and its recovery ability was cut off. What kind of defense was this? Lin Fei didn't want to die. A good life was in front of him. He didn't want to die here because of the Senfu. Oh, right, the system. The system will definitely be able to help. After calming down, Lin Fei thought of the system, his strongest leveling system. Right now, he could only rely on the leveling system. Water Flame Lotus, explode, explode. Water Flame Lotuses as small as a fist were constantly condensed. They were bright and dazzling. One by one, they exploded. The shocking explosion reverberated in the small square. Using the explosion of the Water Flame Lotus, Lin Fei flew backward. At the same time, he quickly opened the system and prepared to deal with it. He couldn't be killed by the black monster. He believed that the system must have a way. System, you must give it your all. Chapter 374. The Eternal Emperor's Senfu. Mu Changkong appeared outside the Senfu out of thin air. At this time, the Senfu was empty. No one would stay outside. Come, let's go in. Mu Changkong threw out a golden scroll. The Jingguang flashed and tore a hole outside the Senfu. A Jingguang wrapped around the 3 of them and rushed in. The outside returned to normal. What a waste of a space-piercing talisman. Mu Changkong stood in the air inside the Senfu. but there was no sign of regret on his face for using the scroll. Young master, to prevent any more trouble, we should first refine the senfu. The middle-aged man called in Zhang Ho reminded. Mu Changkong nodded. The Eternal Emperor's senfu is divided into 5 parts. Once you refine all 5 parts, you will completely control the senfu. Every time you refine a part, you will obtain the Great Emperor key formed from all the parts' keys. Once you refine all 5 keys, you will become the true master of the senfu. The Eternal Emperor's test is held once every 100 years, but no one has ever refined a part. This senfu is destined to belong to me, Mu Changkong. Come, let's refine the first part. At the same time, Lin Fei opened the system and looked for help. He had long since understood the upgrade system. After opening the system, he immediately asked for help. System, how do I get rid of an opponent more powerful than myself? The upgrade system had a function to help. Lin Fei rarely used this function. It burned too many points. System notification. The system needs to scan the enemy's strength before it can make a decision on whether to activate scan. Activate scan immediately. Bang! In less than a few breaths, Lin Fei was sent flying again. The water flame lotus did not deal much damage. The black monster broke, free again. If you came 1,000 years later, you might have defeated me and had the chance to become the master of the senfu. What a pity! Lin Fei vomited blood. *CK, I would have ascended in 1,000 years. Ding, scan complete. The system sounded. Puppet, combat strength suspected to be at the Mystique Venerable level. Peak combat strength at the Mystique Emperor level. The system is analyzing, please wait. Lin Fei vomited blood again. The combat power of a Mystique Venerable one. No wonder my attack could be blocked so easily. There's a difference of 3 levels. Lin Fei was astonished. The Mystic Arch at his peak combat strength. No wonder those prodigies had turned into a pile of bones. What's there to fight? This is simply bullying. Facing this black monster, Lin Fei's scalp went numb. If he had to deal with Xianzong, he would not feel much pressure. If he could not win, he could run. However, facing a Mystique Venerable one puppet monster, it was a completely one-sided situation. After hearing the system's analysis, Lin Fei cursed the Eternal Emperor in his heart. Wasn't the threshold set too high for the sake of accepting disciples? A gatekeeper at the Mystic Arch level? This was too incredible. To be able to inherit the senfu, one's strength must be extremely abnormal. Otherwise, how could he fight them? Lin Fei had never felt so aggrieved before. He had encountered a Mystique Venerable one puppet, and with the passage of time, his strength had continued to decline. To be able to survive the attacks of a Mystique Venerable one puppet, it would shock everyone. His name would surely spread throughout the Xiantian continent. According to the system's analysis, Lin Fei could only continue to dodge the black monster's attacks, but he was still injured. Soon his body was drenched in blood. Under the puppet's attacks, the Azure Dragon Avatar was on the verge of collapse. If he was an ordinary physique cultivator, he would have been mercilessly killed by the puppet long ago. He would not have lasted until now. At present, Lin Fei's situation was not any better. The system's analysis is successful. The following methods have been listed for you to choose from. Lin Fei hurriedly checked to see what help the system had provided him. Help 1. Spend 200,000 points to purchase the Frozen Millennia Scroll. Dealing with the puppet should be easy. Help 2. Spend 500,000 points to purchase the Godslayer Finger. Dealing with the puppet should be easy. Help 3. Spend 1,000,000 points to purchase the Void Shattering Finger. Dealing with the puppet should be easy. Looking at the methods listed above, only then did Lin Fei realize that the system had listed the methods so easily. Wasn't it too easy? 320,000 points. Lin Fei hurriedly checked his own points. Seeing that his points met the requirements, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he still had enough points. Otherwise, he would have been helpless. Bang! As soon as he relaxed, the black monster attacked again. Enduring the pain, Lin Fei opened the points mall. He was glad that he had never used his points indiscriminately. Otherwise, he would be done for today. Soon he found the page for the ice-type scroll. Frozen Millennia. 200,000 points to redeem. One-time consumable. Once the scroll is opened, 10,000 years will pass in an instant. After seeing the label, Lin Fei's eyes were filled with motivation, as if he had found an oasis in a desert. Time-consuming item. It's too awesome. After using it, 10,000 years will pass in a breath. I don't know how many years this black monster has passed. Its strength has fallen to mystique venerable rank. I believe that after using Frozen Millennia, no matter how good its materials are, it will be defeated. I don't believe that it can last another 10,000 years. This was Lin Fei's only option. If the scroll Frozen Millennia did not work, there was no other way. If I can survive this time, I must earn points. It can save my life at a critical moment. Purchase Frozen Millennia. A golden scroll appeared in the system space. At this time, the black monster attacked again. Its power was even more ferocious than before. If Lin Fei's true azure dragon body was attacked again, it would collapse immediately. Without the true azure dragon body, Lin Fei's situation would be even more difficult. Open, the golden scroll, Frozen Millennia, appeared in Lin Fei's hand. It was very dazzling. Lin Fei did not hesitate. He tore the scroll open and threw it at the black monster. At the same time, outside of Senfu, disciples of various dynasties appeared out of nowhere. At this time, all of them had puzzled looks on their faces. They looked around with astonishment, as if they did not understand how they had appeared outside of Senfu. What's going on? Why am I outside of Senfu? I was in Senfu just now. Why am I outside for no reason? What the hell? What's going on? Who teleported me out? The celestial key is gone. My celestial key is gone. After a moment of confusion, the people who were teleported out had changed expressions. The people who had obtained the celestial key looked at each other. The celestial key had disappeared. It had disappeared in an inconceivable manner. Everyone present had a powerful background. After a moment of confusion, they vaguely guessed something. Could it be that Senfu had been controlled by someone? How could this be possible? In reality, that was indeed the case. In a branch palace, Mizunking was holding a golden key in his hand. The great emperor's key he had mentioned earlier was the one that had refined the branch palace and expelled all the disciples of the dynasties. Knowing that Senfu was a branch palace, and that Mizunking had mastered a secret art, he had been able to refine it much more easily than anyone else. A bunch of brats who don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Do you think they are worthy of Senfu? Mizunking toyed with the great emperor's key. I've already obtained the first great emperor's key. Once I get the other 4, I will be the next eternal emperor's successor. Congratulations, young master. Congratulations on your great increase in power, young master. It is only a matter of time before you become an expert of the 3 realms. Rumble, a white light flashed by, and a wave of cold air swept out. Even Lin Fei himself could feel the coldness, a coldness that seeped into his bones. And this was just the aftermath. How long was 10,000 years? Perhaps no one would ever know. But now Lin Fei knew. 10,000 years. Just a single breath of time. Time had been compressed to the point of 10,000 years in a single second. A temporal divine ability like this was something that Lin Fei didn't even dare to think about. It was a completely unimaginable existence. What sort of grand technique and divine ability was this? What sort of terrifying level of power would the person who created it reach? Secret arts? Divine abilities? In front of this temporal divine ability, they're nothing more than trash. Lin Fei cried out in shock. No matter how powerful a person with a temporal divine ability is, after 10,000 years, they will most likely turn to dust. Lin Fei had never experienced being sealed in ice for 10,000 years before. But for some reason, he felt as though this single second was as long as 10,000 years. Whoosh! Whoosh! Behind the black monster, a large number of stone pillars and stone walls had been reduced to dust, no longer existing. After 10,000 years, even the sturdiest stone walls would disappear with the passage of time. Lin Fei didn't care about any of this. The only thing he cared about was the black monster. If even a temporal divine ability couldn't defeat it, then he really didn't know what to do. The black monster was so powerful that Lin Fei couldn't deal with it. If it reached that point, then Lin Fei would really have to accept his fate. Lin Fei looked over. The black monster was now covered in frost, and he couldn't see any changes. At least, that was what Lin Fei thought. Under normal circumstances, after being sealed in ice for 10,000 years, everything would have decayed and become a thing of the past. The black monster didn't change with time like the stone pillars behind it, but its surface had darkened. Creak! Creak! The black monster's head moved, and it made a stiff sound like a gear. I didn't expect you to have a temporal divine ability, even though you aren't strong. If I was at my peak, the temporal divine ability wouldn't have worked on me for too long. Time could have destroyed me. I've finally completed the Guardian mission. Congratulations on passing the trial. Whoosh! As the voice faded, the black monster's body shattered, turning into wreckage all over the ground. It had lost all signs of life. It's dead. It's finally dead. Lin Fei finally breathed a sigh of relief. The black energy that pervaded his wounds began to dissipate. He circulated his true essence, and the powerful recovery ability of a body cultivator was quickly unleashed. The wounds on his body recovered. The Azure Dragon True Body couldn't recover because of the mysterious energy that prevented the recovery of a body cultivator. Otherwise, Lin Fei wouldn't be so miserable. Chapter 375. Seems like I've passed. Lin Fei let out a long sigh of relief. He sat on the ground powerlessly. 200,000 points and a time mystical ability scroll. If it didn't work, then there was nothing he could do. Lin Fei picked up the puppet's wreckage. He used all his strength, but couldn't crush it. He couldn't help but be shocked. Such a tough material. It's still so tough after 10,000 years. I really don't know what material was used to refine it. No wonder my attack couldn't break its defense. With such a tough defense, I'm afraid those mystic sects and mystic venerables would be dumbfounded. Lucky. He really was lucky. If the black monster was a bit stronger, Lin Fei would really be helpless. Throwing the wreckage aside, his gaze landed on the stone tablet. Let me see what's so special about this stone tablet. Ding mission activated. Lin Fei was startled. Why was there a mission at this time? It's been a long time since there was a mission. See Senfu and become a disciple of the Eternal Emperor. Mission difficulty, 5 stars. Reward, 300 million experience, 1 million points, 300,000 yuan energy, and 1 level up. Lin Fei was startled again. He couldn't help but exclaim, "Damn, this mission is awesome." Being in Senfu, the system actually issued such a mission. Lin Fei was more or less surprised. Unexpected, extremely unexpected. Other than that, the rewards were too generous. 300 million experience points. That's a lot of money. Lin Fei beamed with joy. With 300 million experience, I can level up to the Mystic King realm. If I level up again, I'll reach the Mystic Emperor realm and reach the heavens in 1 step. Lin Fei didn't care about cultivation level. For genius disciples, cultivation level didn't equate to strength. Combat power was the standard to measure strength. Even if the cultivation level wasn't high, one could still have strong combat power. 1 million points. I can buy a life-saving ability. Even if I meet a strong opponent, I can use the life-saving ability to turn the situation around. 300,000 yuan energy can also burst out a strong attack. Awesome, too awesome. After experiencing the black monster, Lin Fei felt that he had too few trump cards. 1,000,000 points came at the right time. Lin Fei looked at the stone tablet eagerly. No matter what, I have to take down this Senfu. I have to take it down just for the experience. The stone tablet was black. He couldn't tell what it was made of, but it was carved with characters. After looking at it, Lin Fei immediately understood what it was. So, after refining the stone steel, I will be able to gain control of a branch palace in the immortal mansion. The stone tablet explained the immortal abode in detail. Refine, his quintessential essence gushed out and enveloped the stone tablet as he began to refine it. An hour later, a smile appeared on Lin Fei's face as a key appeared in his hand. It was the Emperor's key. I finally succeeded. After refining the steel and obtaining the monarch key, Lin Fei had a rough understanding of the immortal palace. He also knew how to refine the immortal palace. After refining the stone tablet and obtaining the Emperor's key, Lin Fei now has a general understanding of Senfu and how to truly refine Senfu. Lin Fei thought to himself, "Thankfully, I have the Grand Emperor's key, which allows me to control a portion of its power to reach the other halls. Refining the steels should be a piece of cake. Let's go!" Lin Fei activated the Emperor's key and headed to the next palace. At the same time, within a palace, Long Sky had obtained the fourth Emperor's key and was now in control of 4/5 of Senfu. Now, I'm just missing the final Emperor's key. Long Sky put away the Emperor's key, but then he frowned. Not good. Someone beat me to it and took the final Emperor's key. Long Sky had taken control of over half of Senfu, so he immediately sensed the appearance of the Emperor's key. Long Sky was very surprised. "Young Master, no need to worry," said Great Marquis and Young Master. "You used a secret technique to take the Emperor's key. That person definitely doesn't know about the secret technique. From this, we can deduce that he must have passed the trial. He shouldn't be too weak. All we need to do is wait for him, and he'll come to us on his own. It'll be the same as delivering the Emperor's key to us." Longsky's only worry was that the person knew about the secret technique, and in his impatience, might not be able to control himself. Hearing this, he quickly calmed down. "Uncle, Anne's words make sense. Let's just wait for him." Longsky's eyes flashed with killing intent. "That saves us the trouble. The Emperor's key can only belong to me." Within a palace, Lin Fei appeared out of nowhere. The stone steel has been refined by someone. After searching for a while, he still couldn't find the stone steel. Lin Fei's heart sank. Damn it, my luck can't be that bad, can it? After searching a few more times, he still couldn't find the stone steel. Lin Fei's heart was clouded by a shadow. I worked so hard, relied on the system's tools, and risked my life to obtain the Emperor's key. Could it be that there's someone more monstrous than me? Lin Fei paced back and forth. The situation had become serious. He had thought that he would be able to easily master the Senfu, but things weren't as simple as he had imagined. On the contrary, it was filled with difficulties. Damn, the system's missions really aren't that easy to complete. Lin Fei cursed. No matter who the other person is, since they were able to obtain the stone steel, they definitely aren't weak. They might even be extremely powerful. If I were to take the initiative to go look for them, I would definitely be in a bad situation. Facing the black monster, Lin Fei used all of his techniques. He used up all of his elemental energy. He only had tens of thousands of points left in the system. His only life-saving trump card was a greater teleportation talisman. Anyone in the Senfu would be tempted. If it were anyone else, they would most likely immediately head to the next location and get there first. Lin Fei was an exception. With the leveling system, the Senfu was nothing more than an icing on the cake. It wasn't a timely help. It wasn't as tempting as an ordinary person. He didn't become obsessed with the Senfu. Lin Fei himself was a cautious person. If I want to take down the Senfu, I have to fight the mysterious person. I don't know anything about the mysterious person's strength. I also don't know if he has any helpers. If I meet him, I really don't know what will happen. Lin Fei guessed, if I want to take down the Senfu, I have to kill them in one strike and not give them any chance. Lin Fei thought of the tools in the system's shop. The black monster was powerful, wasn't it? Under the frozen years, it still became a pile of scrap metal. Yes, I must buy some tools as a protective treasure. Only then will I have more confidence. He quickly opened the system and the shop. He couldn't help but frown. The frozen years scroll is gone. The frozen years scroll that was originally sold was completely gone. Lin Fei saw a line of words below. One-time consumable, only sold once. Not good after experiencing the treasure that was worth 200,000 points. Lin Fei didn't have much confidence in the treasures in front. Looks like I need at least 200,000 points to get a satisfactory treasure. 20 points was a bit difficult. In the shop, one could only get 200,000 points for one. The next level required 300,000 points. In other words, Lin Fei had to get more than 200,000 points in a short period of time. Otherwise, he could only watch helplessly. Chapter 376. P.S. Thank you to He Jingxiong for your comment. Outside the central zone, there were fewer demons than before, but there were still many great demons left behind. These great demons all had demon soldiers under them, especially those that were well-cultivated array soldiers. The demon clan's hatred for humans had never lessened, and had never stopped. Every time the Senfu opened, the great demons would take the initiative to kill human experts as a way to vent their dissatisfaction with the humans. Every time it opened, the humans would suffer heavy casualties. The Senfu had a lot of space. For the great demons, especially the top great demons, they could easily fly out. As such, they were forced to leave the Senfu and head to the outside world. Hunting human experts and snatching the Skymortal Key became one of the things they wanted to do the most. Damn, these humans sure run fast. Stop sighing. At least your king killed 3 humans. These human disciples are all very profitable. Killing them will give you a lot of spoils of war. It's a pity that our king has yet to encounter a single human disciple. By the way, do you know that Sky Snake Great Demon? The last time the Senfu opened, he killed more than 10 humans. It's said that he encountered a powerful human expert this year and was killed. Ah, Sky Snake Great Demon is dead? He's very strong. He's dead. His demon soldiers have all been taken away. Outside the central zone, the demon soldiers chatted with each other. From time to time, their gazes would land on the central zone, a place they both loved and hated. The Emperor-level great demons were also gathered together. Sky Snake Great Demon is dead. What a surprise! A black ox demon with 2 horns on his head side. Despicable humans. Not long ago, Sky Snake Great Demon said that he would break the previous record this year. I never expected him to be killed by a human expert so quickly. You don't say. The human experts this year are very strong. Many great demons were killed. From what I know, the Alligator Great Demon, White Bear Great Demon, and the rest are all dead. Usually, the great demons would fight each other nonstop. But once a great demon died at the hands of a human expert, they could not help but unite against a common enemy. They could not hide the anger on their faces. Their usual fighting was a matter for the demons. But if a great demon died at the hands of a human, it would become a feud that would last for generations. The Senfu had opened, and they had lost so many great demons. This made the great demons in a bad mood. Human experts have appeared. Great demons were very sensitive to the aura of humans. When Lin Fei appeared thousands of miles away, the great demons immediately detected him. Kill! Kill this brat! I know this person. He blocked Ku Shui's palm strike, so he must have a lot of treasures on him. Moreover, he came from the central region. If we kill him, there will definitely be a lot of treasures. The greater demon was excited. The demon race had always been competitive. What's more, at this moment, they were all full of anger. When they saw a human brat appear, they immediately looked for a place to vent their anger. Who asked him to appear at the right time? Whoosh! Whoosh! In order to obtain points, Lin Fei set his sights on the Yao. After refining the Great Emperor Qi, Lin Fei could move freely within the Senfu. Now he had done Lin Fei a great favor. In order to be careful, Lin Fei decided to get enough points first. Without a protective treasure, he really didn't have much confidence. If he had a treasure that could seal in ice for 10,000 years, he could deal with it when he encountered a strong expert. At the very least he could leave. It was better than falling into a trap. It was this thought that allowed Lin Fei to avoid a great deal of trouble and danger. So many experience points. Seeing the black mass of demons, Lin Fei's eyebrows danced in delight. He was extremely excited. With so many Yao, it shouldn't be a problem to get 200,000 points, right? Lin Fei asked himself. Dragon transformation, his strongest defense, was activated. God kill. Lin Fei activated his strongest defense. He didn't want to waste time. If he was discovered by the other party, he would lose more than he gained. He had to get 200,000 points in the shortest time possible. Walala, the divine consciousness was like a harvesting weapon. The Yao soldiers were wearing armor. As soon as they formed an attack formation, Lin Fei's divine consciousness came over. Their defense was strong, but their soul cultivation was poor. With a god kill, the souls in the sea of consciousness of the Yao soldiers were destroyed and turned into soul fragments. In other words, they were directly killed by the divine consciousness. Without their souls, the Yao soldiers lost their effect. Awesome, this is awesome. The soul attack would at most cause dizziness. The power of the divine sense evolution secret technique was extraordinary. Even the Yao soldiers at the front had their souls injured. The weaker king-level Yao soldiers directly fell from the sky. This divine consciousness secret technique came at the right time. Otherwise, facing a large number of Yao soldiers, Lin Fei could only watch helplessly. He couldn't rush up. Whoosh! Lin Fei rushed to the front of the Yao soldiers. With the supreme-grade spiritual treasure sword in his right hand, he pierced the head of the Yao soldiers, penetrating the defense and killing the king-level Yao soldiers. After being suppressed in front of the black monster for so long, Lin Fei found a place to release. Bang! 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 Lin Fei was fast and powerful, especially with the supreme-grade spiritual treasure in his hand. In front of Lin Fei, the king-level Yao soldiers couldn't even block one attack and were directly killed, turning into a large amount of experience points. At this time, in the main hall, Mu Chongkong continued to wait. According to Elder N, Mu Chongkong chose to wait, but the other party didn't come. He couldn't help but wonder if this was the right choice. Could it be that that person knows that I am waiting in the main hall? Otherwise, the other party should be here soon. The Senfu was very big. Even though the Senfu was empty now, it was really not easy to find a person. Otherwise, Mu Chongkong wouldn't have chosen such a stupid method. A stupid method was a stupid method, but the effect was good. Mu Chongkong had two capable subordinates, Elder N and Dong Su. No matter how strong the other party was, once he stepped into the main hall, he would be killed immediately. Young master, don't worry. The other party will come to the main hall sooner or later, unless he doesn't want to find the other great Emperor Qi. Elder said, we just need to wait. Mu Chongkong said, wait for a while more. Outside the Senfu, the battle continued. A group of Yao soldiers were caught off guard by Lin Fei's killing move. By the time they reacted, at least a few thousand Yao soldiers had died. Under the bombardment of divine sense, it was almost like they were killed in an instant. No less than a few dozen king-level Yao soldiers had died. The emperor-level Yao soldiers were furious. The emperor-level Yao soldiers relied on king-level Yao soldiers, which were equivalent to their left and right arms. Although the Senfu was big, there were many forces. The emperor-level Yao soldiers were not convinced by each other. In less than a moment, countless king-level Yao soldiers had died, especially the Yao soldiers, which almost caused the emperor-level Yao soldiers to vomit blood. Form the formation and kill him. The emperor-level Yao soldiers were furious. We can't let them form the formation. The Yao soldiers in the formation are not easy to deal with. After using the Divine Sense secret technique to kill the first wave, Lin Fei obtained a large amount of experience points, Yuan Qi, and important points. Destruction. Lin Fei waved his hand and used the metal concept sword technique. The Dragon of Destruction charged at the Yao soldiers. Lin Fei did not stop and chose to attack the emperor-level Yao soldiers again. With his strength, the emperor-level Yao soldiers were inferior to Lin Fei no matter what advantage they had. Once they were closed in, they would die without a doubt. As for the emperor-level Yao soldiers, it was not so easy to kill them. Lin Fei would rather attack the emperor-level Yao soldiers. The emperor-level Yao soldiers were killed. The king-level great demon, Iron Wolf, was dead. This day became a nightmare for the emperor-level Yao soldiers. They had encountered a freakish human expert. Killing them was as easy as plucking something from his pocket. The usually powerful king-level greater demons were completely terrified of him. Let's go. After killing a large number of demon kings and a group of demon soldiers, Lin Fei left this place. Lin Fei needed points and did not want to be entangled with the enemy. When the emperor-level Yao soldiers were enraged, Lin Fei immediately left. Rumble, the attacks of the emperor-level Yao soldiers all missed. A large number of mountains below were razed to the ground in their anger. Chase! This person can't run far. We must kill this kid. My subordinates have all been wiped out. Ruthless. Too ruthless. Emperor-level greater demons occupied a territory in the mortal mansion because they had king-level greater demons as their subordinates, as well as demon soldiers whose strength would soar when they formed formations. However, under Lin Fei's slaughter, the emperor-level Yao soldiers, under some of the emperor-level Yao soldiers, were almost completely wiped out. As for the Yao soldiers, needless to say, less than 30% of their combat strength was left. Some of the emperor-level Yao soldiers were even reduced to generals without an army. It could be said that these emperor-level Yao soldiers would probably have to lay low for a period of time and recuperate. They would lose the right to speak. As a result, how could they swallow this anger? The worst thing was that their vitality was greatly damaged. The other emperor-level Yao soldiers did not have it easy either. The emperor-level Yao soldiers under them had suffered heavy losses. After teleporting again, Lin Fei appeared hundreds of thousands of miles away. This Senfu is really a good place to kill people and level up. In a short time, I've earned more than 40,000 points. If I do this a few more times, I'll have enough points. The reason why Lin Fei chose to kill Emperor-level Yao soldiers was because the missions he took were all about killing Emperor-level Yao soldiers. Lin Fei could deal with Emperor-level Yao soldiers. It was very troublesome to deal with them. They were not as easy to deal with as Emperor-level Yao soldiers. He could easily kill Emperor-level Yao soldiers in close combat. With a supreme-grade spirit treasure in hand, no matter how strong Emperor-level Yao soldiers' defense was, they would still die. There are many great Yao soldiers in the Senfu. I should be able to get enough points in less than a day. Lin Fei was not greedy. He would go to the Senfu once he had enough points. At that time, all the Yao soldiers in the Senfu would be in his hands. Time. What he needed now was time. The Senfu was very big, and there were many Yao soldiers. Lin Fei appeared hundreds of thousands of miles away and saw a group of great Yao soldiers. It seemed that they were looking for human experts. Total annihilation. Lin Fei did not say anything and launched an attack, catching the great Yao soldiers off guard. Half a day passed in a flash. Chapter 377. P.S. Thanks to Zero Fingu Zero for the tip and Arjun for the comment. Today is Mother's Day. I wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. Lin Fei killed to his heart's content. First, he killed the demon soldiers, then the demon kings. As for the demon emperors, they chose to give up. It was a waste of time. If the demon emperors knew about this, who knew what they would think? Lin Fei killed to his heart's content. The demon race suffered a great loss. The human demon kings also entered Lin Fei's vision. At this moment, all that was left in his eyes were points. It could be said that other than the demon emperors, the rest of the demon soldiers and demon kings couldn't defend against Lin Fei's close-range attacks and were easily killed. Lin Fei couldn't remember how many demon soldiers and demons he killed. Anyway, his points kept increasing, and he was getting closer to the number he wanted. Soon. Lin Fei pulled the killing sword out of the body of a demon king, and blood flowed. Such a massacre attracted the attention of the demon race's true experts. When Lin Fei attacked another demon king, a dazzling Jingguang flew out of the void and charged at Lin Fei with a destructive aura. Someone is making a move. Lin Fei dodged and didn't take a head-on. The Jingguang seemed to be targeting Lin Fei. No matter how he dodged, it kept chasing, which made Lin Fei angry. Water, fire, lotus. The huge lotus wrapped the Jingguang. Lin Fei held the supreme grade spirit treasure and charged at the Jingguang. Clang, clang, clang. The Jingguang hit the killing sword 3 times in a row. The huge force made Lin Fei frown. If his spirit treasure wasn't a supreme grade spirit treasure, the 3 hits from the Jingguang would have shattered it. Lin Fei's azure dragon true body was covered with wounds of various sizes. With his powerful recovery ability, he quickly recovered. However, Lin Fei's eyes were filled with wariness. He had met his match. Your Excellency, you have great strength. In the void, a person walked out. Under his warm smile, there was a cold, killing intent. What a powerful gaze! This fellow has cultivated the secret charm technique. As soon as Lin Fei's eyes met, a great fear rose in his heart. If he hadn't used his divine sense to cut it off, his heart would have long since been filled with fear, and his battle prowess would have been greatly reduced. You are also very powerful. Lin Fei no longer looked into the other's eyes. If he had not heard of this secret technique before, Lin Fei would have almost fallen for it. Aren't you going too far by crazily slaughtering our demon race? Heaven Star said indifferently, Your strength isn't bad. I just don't know if you're able to block the attack of a true treasure. The demon race being wantonly slaughtered, Heaven Star, this demon race's strongest person, naturally could not sit still. The other party's strength was more powerful than he had imagined. He was actually able to block his top-grade spirit treasure, the Vajra ring. He could not help but be slightly surprised. Swish, swish. Just as Heaven Star's voice fell, another person appeared. Since when did you demon race become so polite? Ku Shui glanced at him and mocked. If it was me, I would have killed him first. The demon race suffered heavy casualties. The descendants of celestial immortal Ku Mu also suffered heavy casualties. Ku Shui, the strongest descendant of celestial immortals, naturally could not sit still. Whether it was Heaven Star or Ku Shui, both of them were unwilling to see their strength suffer. That was why they personally took action. One was in the front, while the other was at the back. Lin Fei frowned slightly and thought to himself, Damn it, why did 2 profound sect experts appear? In terms of aura, they should be at the peak of profound sect. It seems like they are the strongest of the demon race and celestial immortal descendants. This is going to be troublesome. If I get entangled by them, I won't be able to gather enough points. I'm still short of 50 to 60,000 points. Water Flame Lotus. How could Lin Fei let them join hands? Without any explanation, he activated dozens of Water Flame Lotuses and charged towards the demon soldiers, like a rainbow. With a silent chant, a shocking explosion was produced. Compressed Water Flame Lotuses were something that Lin Fei could easily do. Dozens of Water Flame Lotuses exploded at the same time. The immense power caused a huge mushroom cloud to rise up. The shock wave swept over and tore countless demon soldiers into pieces. Be it Heaven Star or Ku Shui, they were both enraged. In front of the two of them, this kid still dared to slaughter their subordinates. He was simply looking down on them. Diamond Ring. Heaven Star activated his supreme grade spiritual treasure once again. Ku Shui attacked as well. A black longbow appeared in his hand. He pulled the bow and shot an arrow. A black ray of light locked onto Lin Fei's body. Heart-piercing arrow. Lin Fei did not dare to underestimate the dangerous aura. He activated his monarch key and disappeared on the spot. Rumble. The two attacks missed, causing the ground to tremble. A few tall mountains were shaved off. It was a flat plain. Damn it. Ku Shui cursed. But soon after, his face lit up with excitement. The Great Emperor Key. That brat used the Great Emperor Key earlier. In the immortal estate, other than the Great Emperor Key, nothing else can be used, unless it's the Great Instant Teleportation Talisman. This old man can guarantee that this brat used the Great Emperor Key. Monarch Key. This item immediately caused a huge commotion in their hearts. Heaven Star's expression changed. The appearance of the Monarch Key was equivalent to controlling a part of Senfu. If he refined it, he would really control Senfu. Chase! We must not let him refine Senfu. The situation was getting serious. Heaven Star gritted his teeth. He regretted not using his treasure earlier. Now he could only watch his opponent escape. Swish! When Lin Fei appeared in the distance, the two immediately chased after him. They had the thought of chasing him to the ends of the world. I still exposed the Monarch Key. Lin Fei's divine sense saw the two figures chasing after him. They were extremely fast and were rapidly closing the distance. I'll risk it. The two behind him could catch up at any time. Lin Fei had no time to think. He had to gather enough points first. Voila! Lin Fei kept activating the Monarch Key, changing his position. Very soon, Lin Fei found a group of demon soldiers. A few king-level great demons killed them with lightning speed, leaving a ground full of corpses. Brat, you're dead for sure. Heaven Star roared. Leave behind the Monarch Key, or I'll make you die without a burial. Ku Shui was enraged. This person dared to wantonly kill demon soldiers and human experts despite being chased by them. This caused their expressions to turn unnatural. Why would Lin Fei care about their words? If you have the ability, chase after me. Don't just stand behind me and talk. Lin Fei changed his position again. Seeing Lin Fei changing his position and hearing his words, Ku Shui and Heaven Star's anger soared to the sky. Since when did someone dare to be disrespectful to them? No, he has the Monarch Key. We'll always be one step behind. Ku Shui said, we should use our treasure to kill him while he's attacking. Heaven Star added, let's join forces and kill him first. The two of them had always been rivals. For the sake of the Monarch Key, they quickly swore a heavenly oath and joined forces to kill their opponent. They must not allow him to refine Senfu. Chapter 378. Soon. Tens of thousands of points were quickly closing in. Soon he was close to his target. At the same time, Lin Fei saw that their faces were turning darker and darker like coal. They wanted to cut him into pieces and skin him alive. Now that I have completely enraged them, once they have enough opportunities, they will immediately deal with me. I have to be careful. Moreover, they should have real treasures in their hands treasures that are even more powerful than spirit treasures. I should be especially careful and not give them any opportunities. Lin Fei was only worried about the treasures they had. Spirit treasures could only injure him lightly, but real treasures were completely different. They were mysterious existences. Real treasures were above spirit treasures. They were many times more powerful than spirit treasures. If one hadn't seen one, one wouldn't know. Normal warriors would be lucky to have a spirit treasure, not to mention something as powerful as a real treasure. Once they had one, their combat ability would increase greatly. In a one-on-one battle, they would be able to instantly kill their opponents. Of course, if someone had a real treasure and didn't have a powerful background, they would be quickly killed. Real treasures were even more powerful. Normal Emperor-level warriors wouldn't be able to get one. The mystic sect had to rely on luck. This was a demon and a sky immortal descendant. Lin Fei really didn't dare to guarantee how powerful the real treasures in their hands were. Lin Fei was wary of the diamond ring that the demon used. It was extremely powerful. Lin Fei thought as he quickly charged towards the next group of demon soldiers. At the same time, within the great hall of Senfu, Long Sky of the Mu clan appeared. Waiting here is no longer possible. It's time for us to take the initiative. He had lost his patience. Zhang Hoen and Dongxiu didn't dare to say anything. It was their idea to wait here. Actually, they had a lot of questions as well. Was there something wrong with their idea? Otherwise, why didn't they see him? This seemed impossible, but the truth was right in front of them. That person really didn't appear. They couldn't help but wonder if he had seen through their plan. Long Sky of the Mu clan chose to take the initiative and search through the remaining halls. Strangely, there was no sign of him. It was as if he had mysteriously disappeared without a trace. Where is he? Why isn't he in Senfu? Long Sky frowned. There's no reason for him not to be in Senfu. Unless, of course, he doesn't want to buy in Senfu. Young master, perhaps that person is hiding somewhere in Senfu. And Zhang Ho guessed. That should be a possibility, Dongsu said. Grand Master Vast Sky took out the Grand Emperor's key. It doesn't matter if this person is hiding in Senfu or not. If I use the Grand Emperor's key, I'll be able to roughly locate him. Soon, Mizukage Long Sky and his subordinates appeared outside of Senfu. I didn't expect that person to be outside. Grand Master Long Sky was only able to sense his general location, but that was enough. Killing him was just a matter of time. Young Master, do you want us to attack and kill that person? Zhang Hoen asked. As soon as he finished speaking, the monarch realm great demon, who had already been beaten up by Lin Fei, once again found a place to vent their anger. Who asked them to vent their anger? Humans. Humans again. Kill them. Damned human. You deserve to die. A group of emperor-level great beasts made their move. Courting death. Zhang Hoen's body expanded to become 50 meters tall, making him look like a giant. An ancient aura emanated from him, as though he were a primordial existence. He made a grabbing motion with his enormous palm. An entire world around him seemed to become a giant palm that trapped the emperor-level great demons within. With a gentle squeeze, the emperor-level great demons were squashed to death. Blood flowed like a river. A single move had killed a group of emperor-level great demons. A great demon who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth dares to attack young master? Zhang Hoen waved his hand non-stop. The great demons and demon-level great demons that fell into his palm were instantly squashed into meat paste. As for their attacks, when they landed on the bodies of the great demons, they were like tickles, unable to cause any harm. In the blink of an eye, dozens of emperor-level great demons had died at Zhang Hoen's hands. Quick, retreat. Retreat. The emperor-level great demons who had quick reactions were terrified out of their wits. They were all emperor-level great demons with incredible power, but this opponent's power was simply too terrifying. They didn't dare to stay here any longer. They had seen how the emperor-level great demons had been squashed to death with a gentle squeeze from the giant. The terrifying thing was they hadn't been able to dodge a single claw from the giant before they were killed. They immediately led the remaining demon-level great demons and fled. Mizukage Great Sky laughed coldly. No need to chase. First, we'll get our hands on the final Earth Key. In the future, we'll have plenty of chances to take care of them. I want them to become slaves for the rest of their lives. Zhang Hoen snorted coldly. They should count themselves lucky. Dong Su laughed. A bunch of ignorant little great demons. Killing them would be a waste of time. When Zhang Hoen's terrifying aura appeared, the first to change expressions were Heaven Star and Withered Blood, the two strongest experts of the great demons. They could sense the dangerous aura. Just now, it seemed as though the aura of a fiend god had appeared. Heaven Star had a serious look on his face. Fiend gods, such distant words. They were unimaginably existences. Fiend gods have been gone for so long. It shouldn't be possible for them to appear, right? Withered Blood was suspicious, but his tone still changed. I've never heard of them either. If a fiend god dares to come to the Senfu, they'll probably be surrounded and killed before they even appear. Fiend gods are priceless slaves. Fiend gods were incredibly powerful existences of the primordial era. When they were born, whether they were monsters or humans, they were as tiny as ants in front of fiend gods. They had to stand to the side. When fiend gods were born, they were extremely powerful. They didn't need to train. Over time, their strength would constantly rise. The body-refining techniques that dominated the primordial era had all been passed down from the primordial era, and they had all been comprehended from the bodies of fiend gods. Later on, they had perfected them, and now they were able to display incredible defensive power and powerful attack power. It could be said that fiend gods were the ancestors of body refiners. Body refiners were already so powerful. Fiend gods were so powerful that they caused their hearts to palpitate. They felt powerless, and their lives and deaths were out of their control. Perhaps we're overthinking things. Heaven Star's tone was filled with suspicion as well. If a fiend god appeared in the Senfu, even if the two of them joined forces, they might not be a match for the fiend god. Fiend gods were simply too powerful. Fiend gods were born in the primordial era. They were powerful and had long lifespans. They were nearly immortal and were the lucky ones in the world. It could be said that any fiend god had terrifying strength. The longer they lived, the stronger they became. Heaven Star also didn't wish for a fiend god to appear. Once a fiend god appeared, they might not have the chance to snatch the great emperor's key. This was their only chance to leave the Senfu. Let's quickly kill that brat. A long night is fraught with trouble. This old man thinks so too. Although they couldn't confirm the aura just now, they still felt immense pressure in their hearts. When the fiend god's aura appeared, Lin Fei's expression changed several times. Damn, what a familiar aura. Lin Fei couldn't guess it immediately. However, that terrifying aura still made his heart palpitate. An invisible pressure landed on his chest. This won't do. If this continues, I won't have enough points. Lin Fei was anxious. I have to kill the emperor-level great demons. An inexplicable dangerous aura appeared. Lin Fei could vaguely feel that this aura was most likely coming for him. Once it caught up, the situation would definitely be bad. Danger, extremely dangerous. Lin Fei appeared again. Not far away, there were two emperor-level great demons, a flying great demon, a fish demon, and a group of demon soldiers. They seemed to be searching for something. When Lin Fei appeared, the two emperor-level great demons quickly discovered him. Kill this human brat. This human brat must have some good stuff on him. God kill. Lin Fei once again used the divine sense secret art. More than 1,200 superior-grade spiritual treasures directly bombarded the two emperor-level great demons. The Divine Sense secret art was originally used to fight against the two experts behind him. In order to accumulate enough points, Lin Fei had no choice but to use it. Moreover, this was also the fastest attack. Rumble, he attacked with all his strength, severely injuring the two Emperor-level great demons. Swish, Lin Fei stabbed with his killing sword. The Emperor-level great demons were seriously injured, and their defense was greatly reduced. White light flew past. One by one, their heads were pierced, leaving behind lifeless corpses. Infinite Universe Saber. Heavenly Star, this great demon, finally made a move in anger. This time, he used his greatest trump card, a true treasure. With this true treasure, Heavenly Star could become the #1 expert among the great demons. Swish! As soon as the saber appeared, its power increased greatly. The terrifying aura made people not dare to look directly at it. The true treasure was too strong, too dangerous. Go! When Lin Fei saw that terrifying aura, his heart sank. A true treasure. The other party must have used a true treasure. Not good. I am locked. Swish! The Infinite Universe saber turned into a white light, piercing through Lin Fei's chest. The powerful Azure Dragon True Body unexpectedly could not block the true treasure. Lin Fei endured the pain and shuttled through the void. Heavenly Star withdrew the Infinite Universe saber. What a strong defense! As expected of a body refiner, ordinary warriors would have been killed by me. I don't believe he can block the second saber. Lin Fei's left arm was partially injured. It was a huge wound. Even he found it hard to believe that his Azure Dragon True Body could not block the true treasure's attack. If he did not change his position at the crucial moment, it would not be a simple injury. Is this a true treasure? Its might is too ferocious. A monarch demonic beast could not even injure my Azure Dragon True Body. Yet the other party's true treasure injured me. It is indeed ridiculously strong. Lin Fei was afraid of the true treasure. One more time, and I will be satisfied with my points. Lin Fei remained calm. The other party's true treasure is too powerful. The true treasure's power still remains, and the recovery speed of the body is greatly reduced. If I do it again, the Azure Dragon True Body's defense will be greatly reduced. Feeling the wound near his left arm being enveloped by a power, Lin Fei was no longer so surprised. Although he could recover, the speed was too slow. Seeing that he was about to accumulate enough points, Lin Fei clenched his teeth. No matter what, he had to give it a try. When he returned to the Senfa main hall, he would not need to care about them. Lin Fei quickly thought of a good idea. Points, the important points, no matter what, he had to give it a try. If he did not give it a try now, there was not much time, especially when the other party used a true treasure. If two true treasures came out at the same time, the situation would be even worse. Chapter 379. A group of Emperor-level great beasts were charging in that direction. Whoosh, 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 Lin Fei appeared again. Without hesitation, he used his most powerful attack. He wanted to accumulate enough points, even if he was injured. Even though his left arm was injured and his defense was greatly affected, it wasn't a big problem for him to deal with Emperor-level great beasts. First was the God Killer, followed by the most powerful sword formation. The white light was like cold light and its aura was fierce. It landed on the Emperor-level great beasts. Infinite Universe Saber. Heaven Star, who was right behind, activated the true treasure again. The Infinite Universe Saber was as bright as day, and it split the void in two. It was so powerful that the Emperor-level great beasts immediately stopped. They were suppressed by the true treasure's power. A good chance. Lin Fei's eyes lit up. This was a rare chance. He had to kill them all. Another wave of God Killer rushed over. The Emperor-level great beasts temporarily lost control. Their souls were injured, and their defense was greatly reduced. Whoosh, 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 white light flew past. The killing sword was like a dragon, breaking through the emperor-level great beast's defense. Taking advantage of this rare chance, Lin Fei killed the group of great beasts as he wished. The true treasure's attack arrived. Lin Fei immediately activated the great emperor's key, preparing to teleport to the safe Senfu. Then they would all be in vain. He had enough points. Crash! At the same time, a giant hand reached out from the void. It slapped the air, and the infinite universe saber was slapped away. Then it clawed at the air. The void where Lin Fei was shattered like glass, and he was also pushed out by this force. In the blink of an eye, the true treasure was slapped away, and Lin Fei was pushed out. Lin Fei's face was filled with shock. "Kid, you want to leave just like that? You're too naive." 3 people appeared in the void. These 3 people were led by Mu Zhongkong. The space in the Senfu was very big. To them, tracking a person was a piece of cake. Heavenly Star's expression changed when the true treasure, Heaven and Earth Limitless Saber, was sent flying. He was very clear about the might of a true treasure. Ever since he had this low-grade true treasure, almost no one could block its attack. Today was the only exception. A powerful body cultivator could not die under the boundless universe blade. The second time, he was sent flying by the mysterious man before him. Longski's gaze fell upon Lin Fei. "I imagine that the key is in your hands." There was no room for rejection in his tone. "The key is in their hands." Lin Fei's heart sank. He had encountered a mysterious person who was incredibly strong. If he used the Grand Emperor's key, the person would be able to force him out. Without batting an eyelid, he took out the Emperor's key. "The key is in my hands. If you dare to use force, I will destroy the Emperor's key, unless you don't want to inherit the Senfu." Time. Lin Fei was fighting for time. "If you want the monarch key, I can give it to you, but you have to kill them first." Lin Fei pointed at Tianxing and Ku Shui. Tianxing and Ku Shui were enraged. This brat was really bad, daring to kill with a borrowed knife. Just from that attack, they knew that the 3 led by the white-robed man weren't people they could fight against. "Young master, the great sovereign key is in his hands. You guys can do whatever you want. We won't interfere in this matter." Tianxing left after saying that. Even the treasure was swept away. What could they use to fight? Tianxing slipped away. Ku Shui, the descendant of a sky immortal, was smart. He immediately left, wishing that his parents had given him more legs. Long Sky didn't attack them. They were just profound ancestor peak. Killing them or not didn't make a difference. "Brat, it seems like your plan won't work." Longski's eyes were filled with killing intent. "Will you hand over the monarch key, or will I deal with you personally?" Lin Fei cursed. These 2 bastards were running so fast. At the very least, he should have exchanged a few blows with them. Being able to obtain the great Emperor's key without anyone noticing, you must have a certain amount of wealth. How about this? I'll sell the great Emperor's key to you for 50 million yuan crystals. Neither of us will lose out. Lin Fei laughed. At the same time, he opened the shop system. 300,000 points. He had already chosen the item scroll. And Zhang Ho and Dong Su knew what would happen when they saw how daring this person was. Young Master hated it when people acted recklessly in front of him. These people usually didn't have good endings. Longski's face sank. This brat really didn't know how to behave. He snorted coldly. "You refuse a toast, only to drink a forfeit. Don't think that you can act recklessly just because you have the monarch key. To me, it'll just be troublesome. I'll send you to hell right now. I'll let you know that your strength is nothing in front of me." Long Sky was furious. He was truly furious. A brat with some strength dared to bargain with him. How reckless! Even in the Empire, who dared to be rude to him, who wouldn't be polite to him. Golden arrow of life. Long Sky slapped his waist, and a golden arrow flew out. The Jinguang shone brightly, and an aura no weaker than a true treasure swept out. The entire sky was covered by the Jingguang. Go. This is a true treasure, and it's a one-time consumable. Luckily, we left quickly. Otherwise, we definitely wouldn't be a match for the white-shirt young master. We might even be killed. The white-shirt young master must be from a big family, a super dynasty. Tianqing and Ku Shui were so scared that they broke out in cold sweat. The two of them had true treasures on them. They spent a lot of effort to get them, and they treated them like treasures. They wouldn't use them unless it was a critical moment. The white-shirt young master casually used a one-time consumable treasure. They couldn't compare to this. Even if they had the money, they might not be able to do it. He's dead for sure. And Zhang Ho said, "Those who dare to look down on young master won't die. This brat can't even block a normal low-grade true treasure. Against the golden arrow of life, he'll be killed instantly." Lin Fei's pupil shrank, and danger enveloped his body. Voila! An enormous water flame lotus appeared below him, and its leaves swayed to form a cover. Lin Fei held the killing sword and faced the Jingguang. However, a hint of fierceness flashed in his eyes. Clang! 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 I block again. Lin Fei didn't retreat, but faced it directly. The Jingguang's power was endless. The water flame lotus was blasted apart with one attack, turning into nothingness. Every time they clashed, Lin Fei's azure dragon true body would leave a large wound. If it was a normal body cultivator, his body would have already been smashed into pieces, and he would be dead. After the fourth clash, Lin Fei vomited a large mouthful of blood. After the fifth clash, Lin Fei's face was pale, and the azure dragon true body was on the verge of breaking. After the sixth clash, the Jingguang flew over Lin Fei's chest. The dragon transformation state collapsed, and he flew out. This is the result of going against me. Chapter 380. That kid is so strong. He blocked it 6 times in a row. Normal people would have died countless times. Tianqing sighed. If it were me, I would have blocked 7 or 8 times at most. As expected of the deadly golden arrow. It's so powerful. That kid is also very strong. No wonder he didn't die after blocking your infinite universe blade. He's only injured. If he doesn't die, he'll definitely become a mystique venerable or even a mystique saint. Ku Shui's forehead was sweating. This man in white was even more terrifying than they imagined. He used a disposable, true treasure every time he attacked. Who could beat him? The 2 servants next to him, in particular, gave them a lot of pressure. They needed to work together to deal with the kid in white. The man in white could easily injure him. If he used it against them, they would definitely die. However, they had some doubts, especially Tianqing. If the infinite universe blade couldn't injure him, why couldn't the kid block the true treasure? Wasn't this defeat a little too quick? Tianqing didn't dare to say this out loud. At most, he could only think about it. The 2 didn't dare to stay, afraid that they would be the next unlucky ones. That kid was done for, let alone them. If they didn't leave now, when would they? They didn't think they could hide from them. The mountain range below had been flattened. A huge crater appeared below. They could vaguely see the figure of the opponent. Long Sky of the Mu clan had never taken him seriously. A mere body refiner was nothing. There was no need to care about him. There were countless body refiners in the capital of the dynasty. The Emperor's Key. Long Ski's gaze fell upon the Emperor's Key. This was the last one. Cough, cough. Lin Fei struggled and spat out a mouthful of blood. Don't come any closer. If you come any closer, I'll destroy the Emperor's Key. Lin Fei's expression was fierce. He grabbed the Emperor's Key. It seemed like he would destroy it in the next second. Long Sky laughed loudly as if he was looking at an idiot. Ha ha! Only an idiot would think he could crush the Emperor's Key with ethereal force. But you don't know that this is the Emperor's Key made by an eternal emperor. Unless you're at the same level as the Emperor, no one can touch it. You can give up now. After he finished speaking, Mu Zhongkong laughed loudly and prepared to collect the great emperor's key. With the final emperor's key in hand, Long Sky would be able to completely refine the Senfu and complete the clan's mission. Come here. Mu Shi made a grabbing motion, and Lin Fei was pulled over. At this moment, Lin Fei's expression turned vicious. The great sovereign key belongs to me. The great sovereign key you have will belong to me too. Die. Lin Fei finally made up his mind. Crash! A black scroll was torn open. At that instant, a terrifying aura lingered in the spacious, immortal abode. The beast soldiers and the beasts all felt a sense of danger, which they had never felt before. Not good. The young master is in danger. Originally, Zhang Hoen and Dongxiu didn't think much of that brat. After that brat was heavily injured, he wouldn't be able to cause any harm to the young master. Moreover, the young master had personally made a move. Naturally, they would wait at the side. This kind of thing wasn't something they could do. But when that dangerous aura erupted, their expressions instantly darkened. They didn't expect that this brat would have a trump card. More importantly, he had used the trick of injuring himself to gain their confidence. Patience, he was too good at patience. They were faster, but Lin Fei was faster. From the moment they appeared, Lin Fei knew that they had encountered a powerful enemy, especially the white-robed young master, who was clearly the leader and had powerful servants by his side. Lin Fei knew with a single glance, which was why he used this method to numb the enemy. Lin Fei indeed couldn't block the golden arrow of reaping life. It was too powerful. Previously, he had been injured by the infinite universe saber. Now that he had encountered the golden arrow of reaping life, he was naturally heavily injured. Because he was injured, Lin Fei found a chance to kill his opponent. If the two servants had attacked, Lin Fei wouldn't have had a chance to snatch the great emperor's key. He would have been killed before he could even attack. Everything went according to Lin Fei's expectations. The white-robed young master personally came to take the great emperor's key. Adding on the fact that Lin Fei had tricked him, he finally had the chance to use the scroll he had bought. The scroll was torn open, and a sky-covering black mist turned into a huge vortex, appearing above Longski's head. Then, a terrifying aura was released from the black mist. A black dragon, an enormous black dragon, more than 300 meters long, emerged from the black vortex. Its eyes were sharp, and its terrifying demonic chi caused all of the demonic demons in the Immortal's palace to tremble, and no one dared to look directly at it. Humph, do you think you can kill me like this? You're too naive. A golden scroll appeared in Longski's hand. Finger of reaping life. A boundless dangerous aura locked onto Longski's body. More importantly, he was enveloped by a mysterious power, preventing him from using the great emperor's key to escape. Longsky calmed down and took out a protective treasure. The fatal finger was a divine thought left behind by a super powerhouse. Its attack power was immense. One could imagine how powerful it was to leave such a life-saving attack behind for Mu Changkong. Even if he encountered a Mystique Venerable or even a Mystique Sage powerhouse, he would still be able to escape. The black dragon was far more terrifying than he had imagined. The terrifying finger had just been unleashed when it was swallowed by the black dragon. Then it swallowed Longsky in one gulp. Longsky was shocked. How could this be? My finger of reaping life was bestowed upon me by an elder in my family. Even a great perfection, mystic, venerable, or profound sage would be wary of it. How could the black dragon swallow it in one gulp? It doesn't make sense. For the first time, Longsky panicked. He was truly panicking. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. The huge black dragon swooped down and bit down on half of Longsky's body. Zhang Hoen and Dongxiu were furious. Don't you dare hurt our young master. Zhang Hoen transformed into a giant. His god-fiend aura rippled as he used his god-fiend divine ability. The sky darkened instantly. Lin Fei suddenly felt weightless. Fortunately, at that moment, the black dragon dragged Long Sky into the vortex. No matter how he struggled, it was useless. In less than a breath's time, he was dragged into the vortex. I'm Long Sky. I won't die. Rumble! Zhang Ho-An's palm landed on the black vortex. In the end, the black vortex collapsed and turned into fragments. For shadows shot out from within. Retrieve, retrieve, retrieve! Lin Fei rushed out quickly and retrieved the 4 shadows at lightning speed. You killed the young master. You killed the young master of the Long Sky clan. Zhang Hoan was furious. He could not imagine that the young master, who had a protective treasure, would die in front of him. He could not accept that things had come to this. Heaven and earth capture. Sword of Shadow. An inexplicable sense of great danger loomed over him. Lin Fei did not hesitate and activated the Great Emperor's key. Obstruct, the air seemed to freeze. There was a rare pause as the god-fiend divine ability sealed the air. Azure Dragon True Body. Use all your strength to block. Lin Fei's eyebrows were twitching. Danger. An unstoppable danger. The Heaven and Earth Capture and the Sword of Shadow both landed on Lin Fei's body. The huge impact almost caused Lin Fei's body to collapse. At that moment, the Great Emperor's key broke through the restrictions and disappeared in front of their eyes. At the crucial moment, the Great Emperor's key showed its use. Even though Zhang Ho-An's divine ability was strong and could temporarily seal the area, it was unable to truly trap the Great Emperor's key. Lin Fei successfully escaped. This was because Lin Fei was not fated to die. Damn, he actually blocked our sure-kill technique. The darkness dissipated, and everything returned to normal. But Zhang Ho-An's face was filled with despair. Young Master is dead. Even the life-seizing finger couldn't block the other party's attack. We really failed miserably this time, Dong Su said. As servants, the 2 of them were very strong. After losing the Great Emperor's key, it was easier said than done to catch up to the other party. More importantly, the other party could enter the Senfu. They were helpless against the Senfu. The Senfu left behind by the Eternal Emperor was not something they could break. Let's go out first. No matter what, we must bring this person back. Otherwise, the family will not spare us. At the mention of the family, and Zhang Ho revealed a look of unconcealable fear. If we don't leave the Senfu once he controls the Senfu, it will be difficult for us to leave the Senfu. It was not easy for the Senfu to leave, but the 2 of them had treasures and could just barely break out of the seal. Dong Su also knew that they had no choice but to leave. Once they refined it, they would be trapped in the Senfu. Not to mention killing the other party. They might even fall into the other party's hands. Let's go! Cough, cough, cough in the Senfu. The moment Lin Fei appeared, he fell to the ground. He looked at the building above him and vomited blood, but he still had a smile on his face. I actually survived. I didn't die at their hands. Lin Fei knew that he was in the Senfu. Once he was in the Senfu, he would be safe. Lin Fei did not even have the strength to stand up. The Azure Dragon True Body had already collapsed. His body was a bloody mess, and even his bones could be seen. This injury is too serious. Lin Fei circulated his quintessential essence and tried to expel the quintessential essence, but found that it was very difficult. It would be impossible to expel it for a while. Fortunately, circulating his quintessential essence could alleviate the injury. It would take a long time for him to recover from this injury. Fortunately, I cultivated the Azure Dragon True Body. Otherwise, I would really be dead this time. Those 2 servants are too strong, and one of them is a god fiend. I'm afraid I've gotten into big trouble this time. Lin Fei thought back to the earlier scene. It was too dangerous. Fortunately, I spent 300,000 points to buy a devouring hole. That was how I managed to restrain the other party. Otherwise, I would have been the one dying this time. That white-robed young master seems to be called Mu Zhongkong or something. What a strange surname. Furthermore, The god fiend that attacked later on is also rarely seen. The aura of a god fiend, Lin Fei finally recalled. Why does it feel so familiar? This is the aura of a god fiend. Chapter 381. P.S. Thank you to Zyamapi for your monthly votes, update votes, and tips. 3 days. For 3 whole days, Lin Fei lay motionless in the senfu, like a piece of wood. Those who did not know would think that he was dead, but in reality he was quietly recovering from his injuries. It was obvious how serious his injuries were. This was also because Lin Fei's azure, dragon true body, was amazing. If it were anyone else, they would have been dead for sure under the double blow. It should be noted that the one who attacked was a god fiend. The god fiend was an ancient existence with unfathomable strength. It was known to be invincible in close combat and divine abilities. Lin Fei could survive the god fiend's attack. If word got out, it would probably cause a huge uproar. If the god fiend did not die, how many could it be? Lin Fei was one of them. More importantly, Lin Fei's cultivation level was too low. In the eyes of powerhouses, he was beneath them. Huff, huff. Lin Fei leaped up and spat out mouthfuls of turbid air. Damn it, my injuries are finally healed. Recalling the god fiend's methods and the dangerous scene, Lin Fei still felt a lingering fear. No wonder the god fiends were so tyrannical back then. With such a long lifespan, their strength is indeed amazing. That god fiend was clearly a mystique, grand-level god fiend, but its combat strength was terrifying. Its true combat strength was at the level of a peak mystique, venerable one. It was unbelievably powerful. Lin Fei thought that his strength was monstrous enough. After witnessing the god fiend's methods, he had to admit that the god fiends were the lucky ones in this world. The mystique, grand-level combat strength was terrifying. On top of that, they were born as god fiends and possessed powerful recovery abilities. Even a peak mystique, venerable one would have to give way to a god fiend. Fortunately, I was quick enough to snatch the Great Emperor's key. Otherwise, it would have been a huge problem to snatch the Great Emperor's key from them. Lin Fei knew that he had gotten into big trouble. He had a god fiend with him, and the other was unknown. His strength was also very powerful and was not an ordinary person. This meant that this Mizuki Chankong's background was not simple. Lin Fei had never heard of a young master bringing a fiend god with him. Mu Chankong died long ago. He doesn't even have the chance to be reborn. So what if they find out I have the senfu, and it's the senfu of the Great Emperor? There must be a lot of good stuff there. When I find a big sect, no matter how strong they are, they won't dare to do anything to a big sect, right? Lin Fei quickly made plans for the future. Fighting head-on wouldn't work, so finding a backer was undoubtedly the wisest choice. Let's refine the Grand Emperor's key first before anything else happens. Thankfully, this is senfu. No matter how powerful the gods and demons are, they won't be able to break through the senfu refined by an eternal emperor. Safe, they were really safe now. Swish, 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 the Great Emperor keys flew out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 Great Emperor keys in total. Not one more, not one less. Refine, the 5 Great Emperor keys flew together and gradually merged. A silver-white light flashed. Buzz! A silver-white Great Emperor's key floated in the air. Boom! Lin Fei grabbed the Great Emperor's key in his hand, and the senfu suddenly changed. Rumble! A loud sound resounded in the sky above senfu. The demon soldiers and monsters who were trying to find the humans stopped at this moment. They couldn't help but show fear in their eyes. They all looked at the central region, where senfu was located. The monsters in the central region were all dumbfounded. The strongest monster, Heavenly Star, and the descendant of the Sky Immortal, Ku Shui, appeared in the air, their eyes filled with unwillingness. Senfu has been controlled. The end of the monster race has come. Seeing how terrifying the white-robed young master was, Heavenly Star and Ku Shui didn't think they could stop him. not to mention the powerful families and demons behind him. Their carefree days were completely over. Fear began to spread and take root in their hearts. Inside Senfu, Lin Fei was in a public square. As he grasped the great emperor's key, all kinds of information flowed into his memory. I didn't expect that the true inheritance of Senfu isn't here. Lin Fei stood in the public square and couldn't help but sigh. If he hadn't grasped Senfu, Lin Fei wouldn't have known that there was another world inside Senfu. He would have probably foolishly thought that Senfu was the inheritance of the Eternal Emperor. In fact, that wasn't the case. In the eyes of outsiders, Senfu was just used to confuse people. The true Senfu hid in Senfu, transforming into something and waiting for the fated one. Perhaps only the Eternal Emperor could do something like this. The true Senfu come out. Lin Fei activated the Great Emperor's key. With a flash, the Great Emperor's key flew out and landed on a statue in the public square. Voila! A black tunnel appeared above the statue. I didn't expect that Senfu hid in the statue and even opened up a spatial tunnel. Lin Fei looked over. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for completing the Seize Senfu mission. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining 300 million experience points, leveling up by one level, 1 million points, 300,000 yuan energy. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for reaching the Mystic Monarch realm, obtaining 500,000 points, 100,000 yuan energy, 1 lottery ticket. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for reaching the Mystic Monarch realm, obtaining 1 million points, 200,000 yuan energy, 1 lottery ticket. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for reaching the Mystic Monarch realm, obtaining 2 million points, 500,000 yuan energy, 1 lottery ticket. The system kept ringing with notifications. Lin Fei was overjoyed. I'm rich. I'm really rich this time. 1 mission, 2 promotions, and a large amount of resources. Lin Fei's eyes narrowed and he smiled happily. 1 million points, 500,000 points. Lin Fei squinted his eyes. For 1,500,000 points. That's awesome. I was almost killed for 200,000 points. I didn't expect to get 4,500,000 points from completing the mission. 300,000 essence force. 100,000 essence force. That's 1 million essence force. Lin Fei continued. There are also the 4 lottery chances that come with leveling up. This is really awesome. What was refreshing? Lin Fei was the happiest at this moment. Before entering the Senfu, he had already harvested a large amount of resources. His thoughts were unobstructed, and he felt extremely happy. With these 5 million points, 1 million yuan energy, and 4 lottery tickets, my strength will definitely increase by leaps and bounds. At that time, I must get rid of that god demon. This kind of enemy must be eliminated. Lin Fei revealed a cold gaze. Lin Fei was very unhappy about leaving a god demon. Leaving a god demon was no less than a great enemy, and if it attacked, it would definitely be a problem. Chapter 382. The true Emperor Senfu hadn't even entered, but he had already reaped such a great harvest. This made Lin Fei even more excited to see what lay beyond the passageway. Lin Fei tried to calm himself down. I can put these things aside for now. It's safe enough to stay in the Senfu. Let's go in and see what the Eternal Emperor's legacy looks like first. Whether it was the points, the key, or even the lottery, they were all fixed. There was no way to escape. Of course, Lin Fei wanted to see what the Eternal Emperor Senfu looked like first. The Eternal Emperor Senfu was very excited. For the sake of the Eternal Emperor Senfu, he had risked his life to snatch it, and he had even offended a young master with a powerful backer. Whoosh! Lin Fei spread his wings of the wind, leaving behind a blur as he charged into the black passageway. Is this the Eternal Emperor Senfu? When Lin Fei charged into the passageway, he was greeted by a unique surge of spiritual energy. With a single breath, all 3,600 pores on his body opened up, making him feel refreshed. What greeted his eyes was a series of exquisite buildings. What a perfect building! Lin Fei couldn't help but cry out in surprise. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth had always been an important element for cultivators. Powerful cultivators could absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and transform it into ki. The more powerful a cultivator was, the more they could absorb. It was common for cultivators to absorb all the spiritual energy in a place. If such a place appeared in the Xiantian continent, all sorts of powerful cultivators would fight each other and fight over it. Lin Fei flew towards the nearest building. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth was already so dense. One could imagine what the eternal Emperor Senfu would look like. Lin Fei was very excited. When he landed in front of a building, Lin Fei was startled, his mouth agape. F*CK, this is cold sky white jade, a top-grade material used to make warships in the Xiantian continent. And it's used as a floor? Isn't this too extravagant? And this pillar, it's clearly made from diamond jade. If such a large pillar were to appear in the outside world, it would probably cause a bloodbath. One by one, the items passed by Lin Fei's eyes. Lin Fei was already numb. The great Emperor Senfu was filled with valuable treasures. The top-grade materials of the Xiantian continent were priceless items. But in the great Emperor Senfu, they were the most common of items, completely unremarkable and unremarkable. There was no difference. Extravagant. How extravagant! Lin Fei thought to himself. The eternal emperors are the true rich ones. Lin Fei pushed the door open. Crash! After the door was pushed open, Lin Fei walked in. Inside the hall was a huge hall. From the outside, it was impossible to tell that this building was a hall. Lin Fei could sense the extraordinary value of any decoration in the hall. When he walked to the central hall, he saw a large number of praying mats. The praying mats were huge, and judging from the material they were made of, they weren't ordinary items. From the looks of it, could it be a group of giants? Lin Fei was full of questions. What the hell is this place? Lin Fei was surprised. He couldn't think of an answer. The praying mats were too big, and he couldn't see that they were prepared for human warriors. What kind of person would sit on such a praying mat? This is the lecture hall where the great emperor explains the great Tao to his disciples. A hoarse voice came from the hall. Lin Fei's expression tightened. Who's talking? Don't be afraid, heir of the Senfu. I mean you no harm. On top of a huge praying mat, a clump of black mist suddenly appeared. Shortly after, a greater demon appeared. It was a greater demon that Lin Fei did not recognize. It had 3 heads and 6 arms, looking mighty and imposing. However, it gave Lin Fei a sense of pressure. Lin Fei maintained his vigilance, but he was also shocked. He had encountered a great demon in the Senfu, and it seemed to be extremely powerful, so he was very careful. You are the artifact spirit of the Senfu? The black great demon said. I'm not an artifact spirit. I'm just an artifact soul refined by the great emperor. You can call me Black Demon. I was once an ancient black demon. Lin Fei was shocked. This great emperor was very powerful. An ancient black demon was used as an artifact soul. This strength was too terrifying. Although Lin Fei didn't know how terrifying ancient black demons were, to be able to have the word ancient in front of their names meant that they weren't ordinary existences. They were definitely famous outside. Black Demon was very shocked by the air this time. He was more monstrous than he imagined. You are the 6th heir of the Senfu in the past 10,000 years. Black Demon looked over. However, you are only an in-name disciple of the great emperor. You can only enter the Senfu, and you are not a true inner disciple. Lin Fei wanted to vomit blood. He spent so much effort, but he was only an in-name disciple. Was there a mistake? Then, how do I become the great emperor's inner disciple? Lin Fei couldn't help but ask. The great emperor's disciple must be at the sky immortal realm. Black Demon said indifferently. However, you are the one with the lowest cultivation in the past 10,000 years. You are not even 20 years old. And your strength is at the profound emperor realm. I don't know how you can barge in. Lin Fei was shocked by the threshold of the sky immortal realm. They only accepted disciples at the profound spirit or profound king. But the disciple of the great emperor wanted a sky immortal. At least this ancient black demon didn't see that I have a system. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said that. Lin Fei heaved a sigh of relief. He had been worried that the upgrading system would be seen through, but now he could relax. This extraordinary artifact soul also couldn't see the profoundness of the upgrading system. Lin Fei was indeed worried that he would be seen through. If the other party had evil intentions, he wouldn't know what to do. A great demon with an artifact soul could live in the Senfu for so long. It was almost undying and indestructible. This was terrifying. Lin Fei had to be on guard. The previous one was Ku Mu. He should be the great emperor's disciple, right? Lin Fei asked once more. Ku Mu's talent wasn't good. He became a sky immortal because of the great emperor's resources. Unfortunately, he was killed right after becoming a sky immortal. He's just trash. Black Demon snorted coldly. You can't blame him. It's normal for a sky immortal to die. The previous two died at the true immortal realm and the other at the celestial lord realm. See, Lin Fei sucked in a cold breath. F***CK. He was killed even with such strength. How strong of an enemy did he offend? You are only at the profound emperor realm. Cultivate well. Only when you become a sky immortal can you become the great emperor's disciple and enjoy the true resources of the great emperor. From then on, you will soar into the sky. Black Demon couldn't help but worship him. Lin Fei couldn't help but curse in his heart. F***CK, sky immortal. How long will it take for me to reach that level? If I die, all my efforts would be for nothing. As this is your first time entering the great emperor's Senfu, you can head to the treasure pavilion and choose a cultivation technique, a weapon, and a protective treasure. Black Demon said, next time if you want to obtain a treasure, you will have to undergo a test. Lin Fei's eyes lit up. Finally, something good has come. The treasures of the great emperor are usually extraordinary, right? Lin Fei said to himself. He had gone through so much trouble to come here. If he didn't get any treasures, then all his efforts would have been for nothing. Lin Fei didn't think too much about whether or not he could become the great emperor's disciple. This way I can save my points and buy other things. Following Black Demon, Lin Fei came before a great hall. There was a huge signboard with the words Treasure Pavilion written in flamboyant calligraphy. With just a single glance, Lin Fei felt immense pressure. You can choose anything you want on the first floor. Go on in. Lin Fei didn't stand on ceremony as he quickly walked into the Treasure Pavilion. When Lin Fei walked in, Black Demon shook his head, his face filled with puzzlement. Strange. How strange. This kid's talent is ordinary. Why is he so strong? Could he be a variable? Black Demon had lived in the immortal abode for an unknown number of years. He had seen inheritors after inheritors, and every single one of them had outstanding talent and could be called monstrous geniuses. However, this successor, Black Demon, was truly unexpected. Despite his vast knowledge, he couldn't tell the origins of this person. He found it strange. The rules set by the great emperor are here. Whether this kid is lucky enough to inherit will depend on himself. If he doesn't become a sky immortal, he won't be the true successor of the great emperor. When the time comes, he will just have to find another successor. Thankfully, he won't need to sleep for a long time. Lin Fei didn't know that Black Demon was thinking about so many questions outside. At this moment, Lin Fei was in a huge library. At a glance, it was filled with books and restricted treasures. There were too many to count, and it was a dazzling sight. Lin Fei's eyes turned red, and his heart started pounding. Damn, I forgot. Why didn't I ask Black Demon what martial arts are suitable for me? I can't just go searching like this, right? It's like searching for a needle in a haystack. For the first time, Lin Fei felt that having too many secret manuals was a headache. Seeing so many martial technique manuals, Lin Fei did not know what to do. He regretted not asking around earlier, rushing in a hurry. After casually looking at the first martial art, Lin Fei's eyes widened. Wind Flame Wheel, Earth Inferior Grade Martial Art. Fire Attribute Martial Art. When used, the wind and fire are invincible. Lin Fei thought that it was already very generous for a martial emperor to get a profound martial art. He didn't expect it to be an earth martial art. Lin Fei scanned with his divine sense and opened his mouth again. Previously, he thought that he was satisfied with obtaining a lot of profound martial arts. But after seeing the martial arts here, Lin Fei finally knew what a true foundation was. Damn, this floor is full of earth martial arts. A powerful martial art could completely change one's strength. Looking at the densely packed earth martial arts, Lin Fei wished he could take them all. Earth martial arts. Lin Fei didn't dare to think about it. Regretfully, he could only choose one martial art for the time being. Needless to say, this was a painful torture. Anyone would probably go crazy and struggle over it. Even a large empire might not be able to take out so many earth martial arts. Whatever, let's choose a martial art first. Lin Fei tried his best to calm himself down. The great emperor's good stuff will be mine sooner or later. Lin Fei was very confident about this. Chapter 383. P.S. Thanks to Xil and He Jingxiong for their votes and tips. The treasure pavilion was huge, so big that one couldn't see the end of it. There are countless Xian Qi manuals. There were many types of mystic technique manuals. There were all kinds of mystic techniques and mystic techniques. It was a dazzling sight, and he had no idea where to start. Collapsing Fist, Earth Lower Grade Martial Art. Shadow Palm, Earth Middle Grade Martial Art. Cloud Piercing Finger, Earth Lower Grade Martial Art. Pan King True Body, Divine Ability Defense. Lin Fei didn't know how many martial arts there were, but he still couldn't make up his mind. Damn it, I didn't have any martial arts in the past, so I'll learn whatever I have. Lin Fei rubbed his chin. He looked tired. There are so many martial arts, now it's my turn to be confused. And this is just the lowest collection of the great emperor. Lin Fei chose for a long time, but he couldn't make up his mind. Hesitation. There are too many Xian Qi martial arts, constantly stimulating Lin Fei. Whew! Lin Fei breathed out a mouthful of turbid air and began to calm himself down. My mind is not firm enough. Lin Fei couldn't be calm at the moment. He couldn't be calm. If my mind is firm, I won't be tempted by martial arts, so I can't make up my mind. Lin Fei smiled bitterly. I need to work harder. After calming down, Lin Fei thought about what he should choose. Right now, my strongest defense is the Azure Dragon True Body. My strongest offense is my sword technique. This time, I should choose a sword technique, a very strong one. Lin Fei had already experienced the power of sword arts. More importantly, Lin Fei's qi was very thick, which was most suitable for sword arts. If the other party could unleash 10 ultimate moves, then Lin Fei could unleash 50 ultimate moves. It would not be a problem. After thinking about it again, Lin Fei decided to choose a sword art. Earth sword art, it should be extraordinary. Up until now, the sword arts that Lin Fei had learned were limited to 2. One was the wind sword, and the other was the Great Destruction sword art. As for their grades, he didn't even know. If he could obtain an earth rank sword technique, it would undoubtedly increase his battle prowess and allow his strength to advance rapidly. Vampiric sword art, low-grade Earth tier. Crossblade style, low-grade Earth class. Formless sword art, Earth tier high-grade. There were many sword techniques. From low-grade to high-grade, there was everything one could wish for. Lin Fei began to choose with rapt attention. This scene naturally fell into He Yao's eyes. This child's mentality is good. He knows what he needs. He is a talent that can be taught. This won't do. This one won't do either. The power of this book is too great. It's not easy to cultivate it. Give up. Lin Fei looked over with his divine sense and rejected the sword art secret manual. His heart was dripping with blood. All of them were priceless treasures. After reading no less than a few hundred books, Lin Fei could no longer remain calm. Could it be that I can't find a suitable sword technique? He was really worried. I will definitely find a suitable one. Lin Fei gritted his teeth. He extended his divine sense and chose once again. This sword art. His massive divine sense swept over and inadvertently stopped on a secret manual. With a flash, he appeared in front of the secret manual. Slaying gods and slaying fiends, for simple words surged with an invisible pressure. It was restricted by the restrictions and was unable to rush out. What sharp words! Lin Fei was appalled. Just the words alone are so sharp. Isn't the sword art? For some reason, Lin Fei felt an urgent urge when he saw this sword art secret manual. There was no rush. He would take a look first. Slaying gods and slaying fiends, sword art, high grade, Earth tier prologue. With killing intent as the foundation of cultivation, one will become a sword immortal that slays gods and is invincible in the world. What a domineering prologue! Lin Fei was alarmed. A few simple words contain endless killing intent. And what is this sword immortal? Could it be a powerful sword immortal like in novels? Lin Fei continued reading. Occasionally he would frown, and at other times his expression would turn solemn. Moments later, he left his current spot and returned an hour later. So this is what sword immortal slaying gods means. It turned out that when Lin Fei went to look up information on sword immortals, he finally understood how powerful they were. This was the first time Lin Fei understood sword immortals. Precious Treasure Pavilion not only had martial arts secret manuals, but it also had records of all sorts of information on the continent. Sword immortal was one of them. In the information, sword immortal was an occupation that was difficult to cultivate successfully on the continent. Lin Fei could understand that among millions of people, only a handful could cultivate to become a sword immortal. In conclusion, sword immortals were extremely powerful. Most importantly, Lin Fei realized that he was fated with this sword immortal. Sword immortals required a great understanding of sword Dao. With the leveling system, Lin Fei did not need to worry. Sword immortals required a large amount of quintessential essence, and this was the most important step to becoming a sword immortal. If the quintessential essence contained in the Dantian decreased, the might of the sword moves produced would be weaker. It would not last long, and there would be no point in fighting. Lin Fei had reached this step. With a heaven-defying core lake, no one was more suitable than Lin Fei to become a sword immortal. After advancing to the profound sovereign realm, the core lake could contain even more quintessential essence. The final step was to become a sword immortal. One needed to cultivate an intrinsic flying sword, and to cultivate an intrinsic flying sword, one needed a sufficiently precious flying sword. Lin Fei had also reached this step. The supreme grade numinous treasure, killing sword, in his hand was a unique and precious flying sword. From the looks of it, the heavens want me to become a sword immortal, thought Lin Fei. I need to abandon any unnecessary martial arts and focus on cultivation to become a powerful sword immortal. Sword immortals have powerful attacks. It suits me the most. I also cultivate in the Azure Dragon True Body. Among sword immortals, there is probably no one with better defense than me. With such good conditions, it would be a pity if I do not become a sword immortal. After some consideration, Lin Fei decided to become a mighty sword immortal. Every man had a dream of traveling the world with a sword in hand, and sword immortals were the best fighters among sword experts. Among the martial arts manuals, I'll choose God slaying fiends. After taking out God slaying fiends and removing the restrictions, Lin Fei obtained the first superior grade Earth ranked martial art. I'm still short of a protective treasure and a weapon. Black Demon had been paying attention all this time. Black Demon was surprised when he saw Qin Yin choose God slaying fiends. Chapter 384. Since he was determined to become a sword immortal, the following choices were much easier. In terms of weapons, Lin Fei still chose flying swords. Even though he had become a sword immortal, Lin Fei's total annihilation was still a powerful killer move. True treasures. They are all true treasure flying swords. Lin Fei's eyes lit up as he nearly drooled. Although they are inferior grade, true treasure flying swords, it's enough for me. Outside Senfu, Lin Fei had been severely injured by true treasures several times. He had a huge grudge against true treasures. The number of true treasures was clearly fewer than the martial arts manuals. Lin Fei chose a set of Flying Heaven and Earth Wraith flying swords. This set of Flying Heaven and Earth Wraith flying swords were all inferior grade. There were a total of 12 flying swords. After obtaining this set of flying swords, Lin Fei could already sense how powerful it was. It was indeed worthy of being an inferior grade true treasure. One was a superior grade numinous treasure, while the other was an inferior grade true treasure. The difference in strength between the two was like heaven and earth. If I had this set of flying swords back then, killing emperor-grade demons would have been a piece of cake. Lin Fei thought, now I can use this set of flying swords as the core. A superior grade numinous treasure flying swords will form a sword array. It will be even more powerful. Now, all that's left is the protective treasures. Lin Fei came to the place where the protective treasures were. This time, there were fewer protective treasures than the true treasures from before. At a glance, there were no more than 50. It looks like I can forget about getting good things if I don't become the Thearcha's disciple. Lin Fei thought to himself that the Thearcha's rule was really disappointing. After cursing silently, he began searching for protective treasures. He would never stand on ceremony if he received a protective treasure for free. Why not take something for free? It could also save him a lot of points. Substitute Puppet can block a fatal attack at a critical moment. One-time consumable. Thunderclap Pearl contains the power of destructive divine lightning. Once this pearl is used, everything within a 500-kilometer radius will be leveled. One-time consumable. Soul Annihilation Golden Spear. Once the golden spear is used, it will annihilate souls. Lin Fei's heart was pounding as he looked at the protective treasures. No matter what kind of protective treasure it was, it would be able to save his life at a crucial moment. Lin Fei looked around and finally chose the soul-extinguishing golden spear as a protective treasure. The best defensive treasure was an attack. No matter how strong the opponent was, if you could destroy them, it would be the best treasure. Lin Fei thought about it and chose the soul-destroying golden spear. The most important thing was to kill that god fiend. The god fiends of ancient times had impressive divine powers and defenses. To truly kill them, one had to rely on treasures. The soul-annihilating golden spear was a soul treasure. It had a higher chance of success if it targeted the soul. Soul-extinguishing golden spear, don't disappoint me. Lin Fei put away the soul-extinguishing golden spear and appeared outside the treasure pavilion. Looks like you've already made your choice. Lin Fei nodded. Yes, I've made my choice. A god-slaying fiend sword art, a set of Flying Heaven and Earth Fiend flying swords, and a soul-extinguishing golden spear. These are very suitable for you. Black Demon looked at Lin Fei. You can leave now. Come back when you become a mystic grandmaster. Whoosh! As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Fei was suddenly pushed out by a powerful force and appeared on the square of the immortal abode. Following that, a divine perception was sent over. Black Demon sent over the method to enter Senfu the next time. Lin Fei smiled bitterly. An artifact soul can be so arrogant. If one isn't a disciple of an arch, they really don't have the right to act so mighty. Thankfully, I gained quite a lot this time. Just the items he took out from the treasure pavilion would definitely cause a bloodbath if they were to end up in the outside world. Every item was a priceless treasure. Lin Fei's strength instantly increased. Just a set of inferior grade, true treasures allowed him to cast total annihilation, greatly increasing his strength. Since I'm in Senfu, I'll first refine my intrinsic flying sword and become a true sword immortal. Lin Fei thought to himself. But before that, I want to see what treasures that young Master Longsky of the Mu clan has on him. The attacks he launched against me were all true treasures. His final powerful move was truly terrifying. Longsky of the Mu clan had been killed by the devouring hole, and Lin Fei had snatched his spatial treasure at the critical moment. Lin Fei had been looking forward to such a huge harvest. He chose a tiny hull and activated Senfu's array formation. After refining the Darch key, Lin Fei was already able to control Senfu. After activating the array formation, Lin Fei was no longer worried that anything would happen to the items left behind by Longsky of the Mu clan. Whoosh! Lin Fei opened it and poured everything out. First was the mountainous pile of quintessential essence crystals. This is what it means to have a true mountainous pile. Lin Fei's eyes lit up. The quintessential essence crystals I snatched previously are like heaven and earth compared to the treasures Longsky of the Mu clan has. He scanned them with his spiritual perception and quickly obtained the numbers. This feels great. This Longsky of the Mu clan actually brought 500 million quintessential essence crystals with him when he came out. With these 500 million quintessential essence crystals from refining the quintessential essence crystals previously, my strength will be even stronger after I become a sword immortal. This black warship should be expensive, right? It's so flashy. He's indeed a disciple of a large family clan. As he looked at the items one by one, Lin Fei was already numb to them. Longsky of the Mu clan was like a moving treasure vault. He actually had so many treasures with him. Now all these treasures are for me. When I become a sword immortal and leave the dynasty battlefield, I can sell these items. I should be able to exchange them for large amounts of quintessential essence crystals. Whoosh! Lin Fei waved his hand once again, putting away all the treasures. There were still some numinous treasures left on the ground. Avatar, the black-robed Lin Fei's avatar appeared. Its aura was much stronger than before. With his main body's improvement, his avatar's strength had similarly increased. It now had the combat strength of a king. I'll leave these 3 true treasures to you. His avatar had always been very weak. Now that he was at the Mystic King realm, with the 3 true treasures in hand, he could easily slay Emperor-level demons. He could finally show off his might. Only now can this avatar be considered to have true combat strength. In the past, this avatar was at most a cannon fodder existence. Now, it had true strength and could help Lin Fei share some of the pressure. Lin Fei took out the information regarding the refinement of an intrinsic flying sword. It was specially replicated. Lin Fei planned on doing the draw after he became a sword immortal. Sword immortal was a different profession. Perhaps the leveling system would change. After all, a game usually had profession. Lin Fei was now like a job advancement in an online game. From a warrior's profession to a sword immortal. To refine an intrinsic flying sword, I need a powerful body. At the same time, I need a flying sword that can be upgraded. Lin Fei continued reading. The dermic formulation to refine an intrinsic flying sword was very short. It was only a few hundred words. Lin Fei read it more than 10 times, afraid that he would miss a tiny detail. Lin Fei had to be meticulous when it came to a major matter like a profession. Lin Fei did not wish for there to be any problems with his profession. If he succeeded in becoming a sword immortal, there would be repercussions. That would truly be a tragedy. The supreme grade numinous treasure, killing sword, appeared in Lin Fei's hand. Lin Fei did not move, but the killing sword moved. From the looks of it, you wish to become an intrinsic flying sword. I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Fei laughed. The killing sword was of a very high grade. It had devoured a mystic heaven numinous treasure to advance to such a grade. Lin Fei refused to believe that such a freakish flying sword could be found anywhere else. Lin Fei was in no hurry to refine the intrinsic flying sword. He spent a day to adjust his state of mind. His essence, qi, and soul correspondingly reached their peak. Only then did Lin Fei begin refining the intrinsic flying sword. Lin Fei took a deep breath. Sword, come. Whoosh! Whoosh! The killing sword flew out like a mischievous child. Lin Fei spewed out a mouthful of quintessential essence that enveloped the killing sword. The mouthful of quintessential essence was massive, and it completely enveloped the killing sword. The killing sword that was enveloped was clearly very excited. It was like a tiny fish that exuded a cheerful aura. This could not help but surprise Lin Fei. Could it be that this killing sword is the intrinsic flying sword of a sword immortal? If not, why would it be so excited? It's somewhat beyond my imagination. This was the first step. He needed to resonate with the flying sword. It looked simple, but in fact it was quite difficult. This was also an important reason why he chose a good flying sword. It was extremely difficult for the average person to produce a good flying sword. Lin Fei's first step was so smooth that even he was alarmed. It was faster than he expected. Then, let's begin the second step. Lin Fei's eyes revealed a determined look. To refine an intrinsic flying sword, the first step was to establish a mental connection with the flying sword. Then the second step was to establish a physical connection. The second step was extremely exhilarating. It was an excruciating pain that ordinary people found unbearable. Lin Fei's perception landed on the killing sword and began the most important step. The killing sword tore through the void and appeared above Lin Fei's head, stabbing downwards. Excruciating pain. An excruciating pain spread to every part of his body. Every muscle began to throb. Every vein began to protrude like a ferocious snake that exuded a terrifying aura. The intrinsic flying sword was accompanied by flesh and blood. It could move at will. The first 2 simple steps were the most difficult. The intrinsic flying sword had to go through a process with flesh and blood, and this process was split into 3 stages. The shortest was 3 days. The one who became a sword immortal would be the weakest. The next would be 7 days, and the last would be 10 days. The one who persisted for 10 days to become a sword immortal would have the greatest talent. Very few people would be able to endure for 10 days. If the quality of the flying sword was not good, it would snap midway. Once that happened, the person would be completely ruined. There would be no chance of becoming a sword immortal in this life. The flesh and blood were accompanied by a will. This was the process of man and flying sword fusing together. The man was the sword, and the sword was the man. The moment the killing sword entered his body, Lin Fei's eyes turned red. His face suffused a ferocious look as black floated around him. It was a baneful aura. The baneful aura contained within the killing sword. Lin Fei's mind was clear. Deep in his mind, the immovable Wisdom King sat there, protecting his soul from the influence of the baneful aura. Thankfully, I have the immovable Wisdom King's sutra. If not, the baneful aura would affect my soul. That would be troublesome. Enduring the excruciating pain, Lin Fei heaved a sigh of relief. Chapter 385. The smell of blood permeated the air in Senfu. On the first day, Lin Fei was badly mutilated. His clothes were dyed red with blood. The murderous aura brought by the killing sword constantly invaded his body and destroyed his bodily functions. Recovery was the same as destruction. The killing sword was not even half an inch in, and a baleful aura swirled around it. The next day, his flesh was still badly mangled. Lin Fei persevered bitterly. On the third day, only half of the killing sword remained. Just looking at it would cause anyone to feel terrified. After persisting for 3 days, Lin Fei's face was full of exhaustion. Immortal swords entering one's body is harder than I imagined, tempering one's martial will. Lin Fei revolved his Zhenyuan, and the wound quickly recovered. He spat out a mouthful of turbid air. The effect of Akala is really good. Otherwise, it would be really troublesome this time. Soon, Lin Fei's wounds healed. There are still 7 days left. With my strength, I can definitely hold on. Lin Fei refined the killing sword again. Crash, his body, which had originally recovered, instantly collapsed and blood flowed out. Lin Fei had a hideous look on his face as intense pain spread throughout his body. The pain of a sword immortal hurt his organs. At the same time, it was also an important step in tempering one's will. It was difficult to become a sword immortal. The first step was to suffer physical and mental pain. The tempering of one's will was the second step, and the flying sword fusion was the third step. One wrong step, and every step would be wrong. If it was light, he would lose his qualification as a sword immortal. In serious cases, one's soul would be destroyed, and both the person and the sword would perish. Becoming a sword immortal was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Typically, if a sword immortal lasted for 3 days, their combat strength would surpass that of an expert of the same level, barely allowing them to jump realms in combat. On the 4th day, Lin Fei was as pale as a dried corpse. The second stage of sword immortal was the fusion of flesh and blood, an intrinsic flying sword. The word intrinsic represented an important meaning. Origin life, since it was origin life, it was a part of the body. Becoming one with the body was a step that one had to go through. His intrinsic flying sword was damaged, and so was his true body. With his intrinsic flying sword destroyed, his true body was greatly injured. One with the body. If one's blood and qi were not strong enough, how could one endure it for 4 days? A single mishap could affect one's future cultivation. On the 5th day, Lin Fei was as thin as a stick, almost unrecognizable, and exhaustion on his face was even more evident. Dragon transformation. Lin Fei was prepared. His 10-meter tall body sat cross-legged in the air, exuding boundless dragon might and boundless blood qi. Zhenyuan surged and filled his entire body, forming a vortex of Jinqi around him. I don't believe that with the azure dragon true body around, my qi and blood will not be able to endure. Day 6, day 7. Even with the azure dragon true body activated, Lin Fei still looked like a huge corpse. If not for his endless quintessence supporting him, driving his flesh and blood to produce qi and blood to supply the killing sword, he would have died. Lin Fei had failed long ago. The 7th day passed, and the most difficult step was over. The killing sword had all returned to his body, and the sword shape kept shrinking until it was a standard mini version. The second step, the fusion of flesh and blood, was a success. The path of a sword immortal is indeed incomparably difficult. I nearly gave up. Lin Fei rejoiced. Fortunately, I have the azure dragon true body. My qi and blood are strong, and I can replenish them. The third step, natal refinement. This step was a test of willpower. Crash! Lin Fei calmed himself down and felt as if he had entered a mysterious world. Emptiness. A boundless emptiness. Silence. The huge space was silent, so silent that it was terrifying. Whoosh, 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 sword flashes flew. 1 flying sword and 2 flying swords filled the vast space. The flying swords traversed. Sword chi soared into the sky, and sword flashes filled the air. Swish! Swish! Lin Fei's body was pierced by a sword. Intense pain. Pain that came from the soul. Here comes the tempering of willpower. Lin Fei sat cross-legged in the void, resolute. Humph! I have the immovable Hell Monarch. Let's see how powerful the flying swords are. Immovable Wisdom Monarch. A deep voice came from Lin Fei's throat. Boom! The three-headed and six-armed immovable Wisdom Monarch appeared in the vast void. He put his hands together and chanted the immovable Wisdom Monarch Sutra, transmitting it to the void world. Lin Fei chanted it silently. Clang! 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 Dozens of sword rivers whizzed over and crashed into the immovable Wisdom Monarch. At the same time, outside the dynasty battlefield, God Fiend and Zhang Ho and Dong Su sat cross-legged on a tall mountain, motionless. In their field of vision was the Sky Immortal mountain range. It's been 10 days. That punk actually hasn't come out. He really knows how to hide. Zhang Ho was extremely powerful. He immediately sensed the other party the moment he came out, but he hadn't appeared in the past 10 days. Brother, and don't be anxious. This kid will come out sooner or later, said Dong Su, unless he hides in Senfu for the rest of his life. Zhang Ho looked at the Sky Mortal mountain range with surging, killing intent. To think that I, Zhang Ho, have lived for 100,000 years and experienced countless storms. I never expected that I would be defeated by a young man, causing young master to die on the spot. If I don't take revenge, how will I face the patriarch? This kid deserves to be killed. Dong Su was furious. This kid deserves to be killed. The sect behind him, the dynasty behind him, and the family clan behind him should be killed. The 3 words deserve to be killed were said in one go. His anger soared. Zhang Ho closed his eyes. When he closed them, his eyes revealed intense killing intent. The 8th day, the 9th day, the 10th day. In the endless space, immovable Wisdom Monarch sat cross-legged. Boom! 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 The sky was filled with sword shadows. They were like mountains, rivers, and endless waves. They whistled as they landed on immovable Wisdom Monarch. Every time an attack landed, immovable Wisdom Monarch would casually strike out with his 3 heads and 6 arms. Be it a sword mountain or a sword river, they would be repelled without exception. Every time they were repelled, the next attack's might would increase exponentially. Immovable Wisdom Monarch's counterattacks constantly slowed down. He was as slow as an old bull. I'm just 1 step away. Lin Fei's figure dissipated. It was as though he would collapse the next time. If not for the immovable Wisdom Monarch Sutra stabilizing Lin Fei's will, his will would have long collapsed when facing the endless sword Dao attacks. He wouldn't have been able to last until now. I can definitely do it. Boom! Immovable Wisdom Monarch swayed. Lin Fei swayed as well. He was on the verge of collapse. His will was affected once again. Whoosh! A boundless sword river flickered with silver light. It was like a resplendent river of stars. Lin Fei's heart tightened. The strongest wave was coming. If he could block this wave, he would become the strongest sword immortal. Don't look at the 3 steps. If an ordinary person wanted to become a sword immortal, it was already not bad if they could pass the 1st step. There were very few who could pass the 2nd step, and the 3rd step could be counted on one's fingers. Immovable Wisdom Monarch, block for me. Lin Fei opened his eyes. His will was firm as he cast it towards the sword Dao River. If he could block it, he would become a sword immortal. If he couldn't block it, his vitality and will would be greatly damaged. The sword Dao River came crashing down. Immovable Wisdom Monarch's 3 heads and 6 arms moved at the same time, creating layers of defense. Lin Fei activated it with all his might. Immovable Wisdom Monarch was constantly collapsing. The Sword Dao River was also constantly collapsing like broken glass. Lin Fei's eyebrows twitched. Sword Immortal, the strongest Sword Immortal. If not me, who else can it be? Immovable Wisdom Monarch opened for me. Whoosh! Under Lin Fei's control, immovable Wisdom Monarch's figure enlarged again until it was 1,000 feet tall. With 3 heads and 6 arms, it hammered on the Sword Dao River. Lin Fei was going all out. Whoosh! The long river of the Sword Dao shattered and crumbled continuously. Chapter 386. I did it. Lin Fei discovered that he was in Senfu and knew that he had survived. Facing the river of the Sword Dao, Lin Fei did not have much confidence. Eventually, he managed to persist and survive the difficulties of becoming a Sword Immortal. After 10 days, he could not hide the excitement in his eyes despite the fatigue on his face. Sword Immortal. I've finally become a Sword Immortal. Furthermore, I survived the 3 steps. Lin Fei's body wavered. The 3 steps of the Sword Immortal affected Lin Fei greatly. If it were anyone else, they would not have been able to persist. He had become a Sword Immortal. Everything that had happened felt like a dream. He could not help but sigh when he recalled the scene. 10 days felt like 10,000 years. Lin Fei finally understood the difficulties of becoming a Sword Immortal. It's no wonder there are so few who become Sword Immortals. Ordinary people can't even clear the first stage, much less the second and third. If not for my good luck and rich quintessential essence, as well as the Azure Dragon True Body, I would not have been able to survive the 3 stages. After Lin Fei recovered slightly, he began to use his perception to check his body's condition. He had expended a lot of his lifeblood. All he needed was time to recover. Other parts of his body could easily recover from physical injuries. And at that moment, a tiny flying sword floated above his dantian, which was also his core lake. It was wrapped in quintessential essence. It was constantly being tempered. This flying sword was pitch black in color. Sharp sword qi constantly tore apart his quintessential essence in an endless cycle. It was none other than the killing sword that he had been constantly refining. The intrinsic flying sword of a Sword Immortal. Intrinsic flying sword. Lin Fei exclaimed softly. A short sword flew out. It was the shrunken killing sword. There were no changes in its appearance. It was not much different from before, but he felt a strange connection with the killing sword. This was the feeling a Sword Immortal would have after refining the intrinsic flying sword. The intrinsic flying sword was a part of his body. He could control it with his heart. Go. With a thought from Lin Fei, the killing sword transformed into a black beam of light and pierced through the gigantic stone pillar. As expected of a Sword Immortal, it's much stronger than spiritual perception control, thought Lin Fei. The killing sword appeared above his head with joy. As he controlled it, he became more proficient with his thoughts. After refining the killing sword, it is indeed easier to control it. It is as if I am a flying sword. Perhaps this is one of the reasons why Sword Immortals are so powerful. So, Lin Fei stored the intrinsic flying sword back into his dantian. At that moment, the intrinsic flying sword's refinement was complete. All that was left was tempering it. Only then could it enhance its compatibility and produce greater strength. After the intrinsic flying sword was dealt with, Lin Fei began to rest. A few hours later, he looked much better. Now, I can cultivate sword arts that only Sword Immortals have. Lin Fei took out the slaying gods and demons sword technique. This was an earth-ranked martial art that belonged to Sword Immortals. God, it defied it, was it? God Fei Tian, there were a Tian he sect. There was Tian, there. A long, not killing sword that. Was not sword. Was Xian Tian Chin. Had that Tian of the. Was Tian Fei Tian, not in. Sword Immortals were indeed extremely powerful. Any one of them would have combat strength that exceeded their opponents at the same level. Unfortunately, it was difficult to become a sword immortal, and it was even harder to become a powerful one. But any sword immortal that appeared was not weak. Lin Fei had a guess about this slaying gods and slaying demons. It was definitely a powerful sword technique. Ding. Learned God Slayer. Ding. System notification. This manual is incomplete. Please take note. Lin Fei was taken aback as he frowned, suspecting that he had misheard. An earth-ranked martial art was actually incomplete. Lin Fei found it unbelievable. He nearly suspected that the system had made a mistake. How could an emperor's item be incomplete? However, since it was suggested by the system, Lin Fei rarely doubted it. The leveling system was a heaven-defying existence. If the system said it was wrong, it was definitely wrong. If the system said it was incomplete, it was definitely incomplete. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be incomplete. Lin Fei thought an eternal emperor would not leave behind an incomplete, earth-ranked martial art manual out of boredom. Could there be another reason? Incomplete manual? What reason? Lin Fei could not think of an answer. As he could not think of an answer, Lin Fei stopped thinking about it. This earth-ranked martial art is enough. Lin Fei said, "Why do I need to think about it? Why do I need to guess? As long as this God Slayer sword technique is strong enough, it will be enough." Lin Fei started to digest the slaying gods and slaying demons sword technique. As he digested it, Lin Fei's face revealed a shocked expression. This God Slayer Demon Slayer sword technique is actually a speed learning sword technique. As long as I have enough true energy, I can use it? Lin Fei was stunned once again. He was clearly stunned. In the past, to learn a martial art, especially a sword technique, one had to comprehend it. Right now, this earth-ranked martial art was telling Lin Fei that he did not need to comprehend it at all. As long as he had enough true energy, he could use it without any worries. Never seen before. At least, it was Lin Fei's first time seeing it. Sword immortals are strong because sword techniques are easy to learn. Lin Fei was suspicious. The killing sword suddenly appeared in Lin Fei's hand. He slashed at the void with strong killing intent. God Slayer Demon Slayer, first move, slaughter. Violent killing intent. Fortunately, Lin Fei's willpower was strong, and he was not affected. What a violent killing intent. Only such a killing intent can match this domineering sword technique, right? Lin Fei seemed to understand the true power of this sword technique. He also recalled the preface of the opening. Slayer God, Slayer Demon. Dominate the world, be invincible. From this move, Lin Fei felt the strong killing intent contained in the sword move. It was a killing intent that defied the heavens. It meant to kill, kill, kill. Even if the emperor was in front of him, he would slaughter him with one sword. If he could not stand it, he would slaughter him. His opponent's enemy, he would slaughter him. Lin Fei closed his eyes. The killing sword flashed and slashed down from above. Killing intent. Boundless killing intent. The intent to slay a god that defied the heavens. Lin Fei's body was enveloped in an endless layer of killing intent. Above his head, a humanoid phantom appeared. It was the manifestation of the killing sword. So this is the true essence of the God Slayer Demon Slayer sword technique. When Lin Fei opened his eyes again, a smile suffused across his lips. Killing sword, you have helped me greatly again. If not for the powerful killing intent that defied the heavens, Lin Fei might not have been able to understand the essence within. A sword immortal, a powerful sword immortal. Lin Fei understood the words of the preface. A sword immortal had to possess an endless heart of the sword, one that defied the heavens. God Slayer, Demon Slayer. Second move, God Slayer. God Slayer, Demon Slayer. Third move, Annihilation. God Slayer, Demon Slayer. Fourth move, Demon Slayer. God Slayer, Demon Slayer. Fifth move, God Slayer. With the killing sword in hand, Lin Fei's killing intent surged into the sky. Sword chi surged into the sky as sword spirals formed around him, emitting a buzzing sound. The God Slayer Demon Slayer had a total of 5 moves. One after another, Lin Fei executed them. Within the hall, sword chi howled as sword shadows appeared one after another. If not for the hall being refined by a dharch, the terrifying sword intent would have blasted the hall apart from the sword chi. It would be impossible for it to remain standing. But even so, the pillars surrounding the hall were left with dense sword marks. The marks were half an inch deep and left behind sharp sword chi. The killing sword transformed into a stream of light and returned to his dantian. Lin Fei heaved a sigh of relief. The sword immortal who created this sword art must have been an extremely powerful sword immortal. He must have been a mighty figure in this world. By using killing intent and baneful aura as the foundation, he infused it into his sword art. Anyone with a weak will would instantly die. Lin Fei was increasingly fond of this sword technique. It was too powerful. I wonder if the incomplete parts were placed in the later levels of Precious Treasure Pavilion. The power there should be even more terrifying. The God Slayer Demon Slayer only had 5 moves. Lin Fei knew the extent of his combat strength. This was a killing sword technique. With the increase in killing intent and baneful aura, the sword move's power would increase infinitely. Lin Fei sat down cross-legged. The sword move is indeed terrifying, but the quintessential essence it consumes is truly terrifying. The quintessential essence expended after practicing the 5 moves would be drained by ordinary Emperor Realm experts in one go. They would not be able to withstand such consumption. As such, if someone could block the Sword Immortal's frenzied attacks, they would have a chance of killing the Sword Immortal. Lin Fei did not think that the possibility was high. The Sword Immortal's attacks were extremely sharp. Unless the person had a strong defense, there was no way to block the Sword Immortal's attacks. Lin Fei already had the desire to fight. I just practiced the God Slayer Demon Slayer sword technique. Now it's time to recover my mind. 4 days of willpower tempering had made Lin Fei's willpower even stronger. The killing intent could no longer affect him. Even so, Lin Fei still had to recover. Half a day later, Lin Fei had mostly recovered. At that moment, Lin Fei had a systematic understanding of every move of the God Slayer Demon Slayer sword technique. With the leveling system, Lin Fei was more relaxed than anyone else. He constantly dissected the sword moves and constantly comprehended them. This was something ordinary people could not do. He spent another half a day until he felt that he had completely grasped it. I'll begin the draw now. There were a total of 4 draws. Lin Fei had been thinking about it. Before leaving Senfu, he would not feel at ease if he did not win the draw. Once he left Senfu, he would definitely face a battle. The Soul Annihilation Golden Spear could kill god fiends. Lin Fei was worried, so he needed double insurance. Activate the draw. Lin Fei opened the lottery systems page. A huge lottery will appear in front of Lin Fei once again. The tempering of his willpower made Lin Fei calm down. Whoosh, the wheel spun rapidly. Lin Fei just watched. If it was in the past, he would not be able to be so calm and leisurely. Little did he know that this sword immortal tempering had endless benefits. Otherwise, Lin Fei would not be able to withstand the influence of the killing intent. If he was not careful, it would be hard to avoid chi deviation. It was not easy for ordinary people to cultivate their willpower. If they were not careful, their willpower would be destroyed and their entire body would be completely destroyed. Lin Fei was different. He had the immovable Wisdom King, which could protect his willpower from being destroyed. At the same time, the immovable Wisdom King Sutra could condense willpower and soul. Reality proved that the immovable Wisdom King Sutra was very effective. Visualizing the immovable Wisdom King solved many problems. If he had not cultivated the immovable Wisdom King Sutra, Lin Fei would not have the confidence to be a sword immortal at the 3rd step. Whoosh. Chapter 387. P.S. Thanks to Luo Yuxuan for the average rating, update, and tips, as well as Sunflower. It's the middle of the month. Please get a monthly ticket. What will it be? Lin Fei looked at the virtual roulette with anticipation. What will it be this time? From the moment the roulette started to spin, Lin Fei had never paid attention or understood it. He acted according to his nature, but it depended on his character. The items that the system draws will definitely not be ordinary. The red arrow stopped. Ding! Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining 10 million points. Points? Or 10 million points. Lin Fei was surprised, but then he felt relieved. Every time I draw something good at the lottery, I can't always be so lucky. I have to adjust my luck a little. Lin Fei smiled. 10 million points is also a good thing. In addition to the points from before, I have more than 14 million points on hand. I can buy many treasures with it. More than 10 million points. Just thinking about it made him excited. Lin Fei just happened to be lacking points. He just wanted to doze off, and someone sent him a pillow. Continue the lottery. Hua hua, hua hua. The roulette started to spin again, and the second lottery began. Lin Fei's heart calmed down once more. After a while, the roulette stopped. Ding! Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining a skill strengthening stone. Can be used to strengthen various skills. Upgrade success rate is 100%. This was also a good thing. Skill strengthening stone. This time I will use it to strengthen the water fire lotus. Lin Fei had an idea. Azure Dragon True Body is weak. If I use it with the water fire lotus, my defense will be even better. The third lottery began. The first time he drew points. The second time he drew a skill strengthening stone. What about the third time? Lin Fei was looking forward to it. Ding! Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining the treasure Absolute Defense Scroll. Lin Fei was shocked. What an awesome name. The time it takes for an incense stick to burn is equivalent to 15 minutes of invincible defense. This treasure is really awesome. With this defensive treasure, even if I encounter the almighty experts of the Mu clan, I won't feel any pressure. After checking it out, Lin Fei became excited. He had drawn such an awesome treasure this time. 15 minutes of absolute defense. Be it killing or leaving, there was no pressure at all. One could well imagine how awesome the Absolute Defense Scroll was. Unfortunately, the Absolute Defense Scroll was a one-time consumable item. After calming himself down, he started the fourth lottery draw. After 3 lucky draws, Lin Fei was very satisfied. Ding! Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining treasure Time Like Water Scroll. Lin Fei quickly looked through it. His eyes lit up, and he couldn't help but laugh out loud. This is great! I finally have a Time God art scroll. With this secret art scroll, even if I meet an almighty being, I won't hesitate to kill him. Time Like Water was similar to Frozen Years. It belonged to the Time God art category and was hard to ignore. God arts, the strongest was the Time God art. Time Like Water slowed down time, and the consequences would be reflected in time. Whether it was speed or movement, it would be as slow as flowing water. Lin Fei had 2 protective treasures, and the pressure was reduced. After the lucky draw, Lin Fei took out the strengthening stone and strengthened the water fire lotus. After the strengthening, the water fire lotus's defense increased greatly. Lin Fei used his strongest technique to blast 10 out of the 16 layers of the water fire lotus. He couldn't pierce through the remaining 6 layers. After dealing with the water fire lotus, Lin Fei once again opened up the upgrade system and opened up the shop inside. More than 14 million points. Lin Fei was prepared to buy a protective treasure. Absolute defense and Time Like Water weren't to be used unless it was a critical moment. Lin Fei had to prepare a protective treasure for himself. The last time he used his points to shop, he felt immense pressure and nearly tormented himself to death. This time, Lin Fei was relaxed. His wallet bulged and became thicker. With more than 10 million points, I have to buy an impressive offensive treasure. I have to kill that god fiend. Lin Fei gritted his teeth. The qi refinement beside the god fiend is also powerful. As long as I deal with the god fiend, I can kill that qi refinement in less than 10 moves. He was confident. After searching for a while, Lin Fei's gaze stopped on a treasure. Sky-cleaving divine needle. This treasure was specially used to deal with god fiends. It destroyed their bodies. Without their bodies, god fiends would be their greatest reliance. 2 million points. It's a little expensive, but it's worth it if I can kill a god fiend. Although Lin Fei felt the pinch, he still bought it. At the same time, he accepted a god fiend hunting mission. Killed a profound ancestor, level god fiend. Reward: 500,000 points, 100,000 essence force, and 50 million experience. Lin Fei was shocked by the rewards from the god fiend mission. It wasn't a loss. It really wasn't a loss. Everything is settled. What's left is to completely refine the quintessential essence crystals. After jumping from the mystic spirit realm to the mystic sovereign realm, Lin Fei's core lake could undoubtedly contain more quintessential essence. Lin Fei had just become a sword immortal, so he needed to increase his strength. The best way to increase his strength was to refine large amounts of quintessential essence. Lin Fei had long wanted to refine the 500 million quintessential essence crystals he had plundered from Mu Changkong. He couldn't just hole up in Senfu forever. Lin Fei couldn't afford to lose face like that. Refine. Lin Fei swallowed a large amount of quintessential essence crystals and activated his mental cultivation method. In the huge Senfu, after the shocking commotion, be it the demons or the descendants of heaven immortals, they all hid together and didn't dare to move. In fact, they were just watching. Heaven Star, the great demon, and Ku Shui, the descendant of heaven immortals, stood on a tall mountain. It had been more than half a month. Brother Ku Shui, it has been more than half a month since Senfu moved. Why is there no movement? Could it be that the white-robed young master can't control Senfu? Heaven Star frowned. If that's the case, it's not a bad thing. That's impossible. Ku Shui shook his head. Senfu has indeed been refined by someone. I have my doubts too. Logically speaking, no matter who inherits Senfu, they will definitely subdue us natives of Senfu. He didn't, and there is no movement within Senfu. I can't figure it out. During the battle that day, the two left in fright and didn't dare to approach. After Senfu was inherited, the two lost the confidence to fight back. They had always believed that the white-robed young master inherited Senfu and had a god fiend by his side. He wasn't someone they could fight against. There was no movement for a long time. The two naturally came up with this idea. Look, it's multicolored light. A multicolored light appeared on the horizon. Successor. The successor of Senfu. Be it Heaven Star or Ku Shui, their expressions were gloomy. In the end, the immortal abode was inherited. Whoosh! Whoosh! The multicolored light shot towards them. The two were alarmed. What should they do? What should they do? The multicolored light appeared 50 kilometers away as an illusory figure appeared. It's you? Chapter 388. P.S. Unknowingly, it's already 1,000,000 words. Thank you for your support. The one who appeared was none other than Lin Fei, the one who inherited Senfu. Tianxing and Ku Shui's faces were filled with shock at Lin Fei's appearance. Their mouths gaped open so wide that a duck egg could fit inside. Too surprising. Too surprising. They would never have thought that the one who inherited Senfu wasn't white-robed young master, but the arrogant kid they had been chasing for days. How surprising. 5 colored light shone behind him. The best proof of inheriting Senfu. No one could imitate it. Ku Shui had seen it in the ancient books. It was real. This kid inherited Senfu. If they had known that Senfu would be inherited by this kid, they would have used everything they had to kill him. Today's scene wouldn't have happened. You mean the white-robed young master with a demon god? Of course I killed him. Otherwise, why would I inherit Senfu and appear before you? Hearing the arrogant kid's words, Tianqing and Ku Shui were shocked. They seemed to understand why they couldn't sense the demon god's aura recently. This kid really killed white-robed young master. White-robed young master had a demon god protecting him. He must be a disciple of a great family, Tianqing thought, but this kid is the one who inherits Senfu. How surprising. Even though they were knowledgeable, they still couldn't think of an answer. You too, if I were you. I'd better think about my future. Lin Fei said indifferently. Ku Shui laughed with coldness in his eyes. You are just making empty promises. White-robed young master died in your hands. I will know after I try. Whoosh, heaven-covering hand. The one who inherited Senfu was white-robed young master. Ku Shui wouldn't take any chances. He wouldn't be able to defeat a demon god. Right now, it was the arrogant brat from back then who was only at the profound sovereign realm. No one knew why he had advanced from the profound spirit realm to the profound sovereign realm. But he didn't care at all. How could Ku Shui allow himself to be tied down? Tianqing's expression changed slightly. He scolded Ku Shui for being shameless. He attacked when they were close. He didn't want Yi Chen to fall into Ku Shui's hands. With a wave of his hand, a white light flashed. Infinite Universe Blade. Ku Shui, you shameless bastard. This kid is mine. The temporary alliance was broken. Whoever captures this child will control the Senfu and leave the Senfu. Ku Shui laughed heartily. Whoever this kid belongs to, let's see who is faster. Lin Fei snorted coldly. Good. All of this was within his expectations. It was impossible for the two of them to stay obedient, so it was inevitable that they would resist. The intrinsic flying sword landed in Lin Fei's hand and returned to its original state. Its killing intent surged. After refining the intrinsic flying sword, the killing intent on the killing sword was no longer controlled. Slaughter. Slaying gods and slaying demons, the first move. Lin Fei swung the killing sword horizontally. The sharp and unparalleled sword intent pierced through the void and landed on the two souls. Under the terrifying sword intent, their sturdy souls showed signs of collapsing. What a terrifying sword intent! My spirit has collapsed. Their expressions changed drastically. He did not expect that this brat's strength would advance by leaps and bounds. He should be looked at in a new light. They were mystic grandmasters with great perfection strength, comparable to beginner mystic venerable ones. They had never been afraid of the sword intent. The sword intent was dangerous. The sword move was terrifying. It was unbeatable. Ku Shui opened his mouth, and a brown shield appeared in front of him, wrapping him up. Only then did he feel at ease. Tianqing, the great demon, was not far behind. He returned to his true form, a black demonic beast of a few 100 feet in size. His demonic aura surged into the sky, covering the sun. The demonic clan's aura was oppressive. All the demons were flustered and shocked. Lin Fei's strike forced the two to use their defensive treasures. From this, it could be seen how frightening and terrifying Lin Fei's sword was. Whoosh! With one strike, Ku Shui's defensive treasures cracked inch by inch. His skin and flesh split open as blood flowed out. With one strike, Tianqing's body was covered in wounds as blood gushed out. The two were horrified and quickly distanced themselves. Their faces were filled with fear that did not dissipate. They looked at each other. How can he be so strong? With just one strike, he shattered my mystic earth armor. His sharp sword technique even blasted open my armor. This strike is too terrifying. Ku Shui seemed to have walked on the edge of life and death. Fear lingered in his heart. That was a fatal strike. If it were not for the treasures that absorbed the main force, he would not have been injured like this. Heavenly Star, this great fiend, looked at the wounds on his body, and returned to his human form. His face was pale. Monster. In such a short period of time, that arrogant brat that I chased back then could not even block my limitless universe saber. Now he injured me with just one sword strike. If there are a few more sword strikes, my fiend body will not be able to withstand it. How exactly did this brat cultivate? The body of a demon was the strongest defense. Tianxing's forte was defense. He could not remember how long it had been since he was injured. Today he was actually injured by the opponent's strike. You too, if you want to continue, I don't mind sending you to hell with my next strike. Lin Fei looked at them in shock. That earth-grade sword technique was too terrifying. The two of them were at the peak of mystic sect, and they were going to use their best skills. Fear rose in Tianxing and Ku Shue's hearts. Even if they were at the peak of mystic sect, they couldn't block a single strike and were injured. If he really wanted to kill them, they really wouldn't be able to block it. He was too strong. It was especially so for that shocking sword intent. Fear lingered in their hearts. That wasn't a sword technique that ordinary people could cultivate. The two of them were the strongest natives in Senfu, and they could understand the meaning behind his words. This person didn't want to kill them. If he really wanted to kill them, they would definitely be killed. There was no doubt about it. What do you want to do? Ku Shui asked directly, losing the sharp aura from before. Once he lost all his confidence, and the initiative fell into the hands of others. Lin Fei smiled. 2 choices. First, I will send you to hell so that you will have a companion. Second, make an oath to serve me for 2,000 years. Once the time is up, I will return you your freedom. At first, Lin Fei wanted to kill them, but after thinking about it, killing them for EXP was not worth it. He had offended someone from a large clan. If they arranged for their subordinates to attack the clan, just one emperor level or grandmaster level would be enough to destroy the clan. Since he couldn't kill them, he might as well serve the clan. With 2 early mystic venerable rank powerhouses, they could stop most of the powerhouses. The demon weapons they had could be of help when used with the formation. Lin Fei knew how terrifying the formation weapons were. Profound Sovereign and Mystic Sect would only be sending themselves to their deaths if they fought alone. Tianxing and Ku Shui were prepared to resist. The other party's words were like a glimmer of hope. 2,000 years was not a long time. One closed-door cultivation could last for a few hundred years. 2,000 years was nothing. They couldn't refuse such conditions. Resist? They could die if they wanted to, and reincarnate earlier. They might not have the strength in their next life. At this realm, they might be mediocre for the rest of their lives. The other party forced them to use all their skills. Killing them would be a piece of cake. They didn't want to die. At this realm, they wanted to live for thousands of years. Tianxing and Ku Shui didn't hesitate and immediately swore the heavenly oath to Lin Fei. With the heavenly oath as their witness, the two were completely relieved. Reign in your subordinates. When the dynasty war is over, I will personally send you out. Lin Fei left an order for them. Tianxing and Ku Shui looked at each other and smiled. For the next 2,000 years, we'll have to share weal and woe. Senfu never opened. The two had been fighting nonstop for control of Senfu. They didn't expect the result to be like this. The two had to work together. Immediately, the two flew back and began to consolidate their current strength. With them guarding the clan, I can rest assured. Lin Fei heaved a sigh of relief. Chapter 389. P.S. Thanks to Xil and Emperor Haoyan for the votes and Luo Yuxuan for the tips. In order to kill this kid, and Zhang Ho would do anything. This kid had to die. Destroy the body, imprison the soul. Use the 9 heaven divine fire to burn the soul. Suffer the pain of 10,000 lifetimes. Live a life worse than death. Killing this kid would vent his anger. And Zhang Ho wouldn't be so stupid. First destroy the body, then imprison the soul. This was Njongho's plan. He wouldn't change it. Haha, you couldn't kill me last time. So don't even think about killing me this time. You can eat the dust behind me. Lin Fei was very sarcastic. God demon? I think you're just an inferior god demon. You can only eat the dust behind me. You won't be able to kill me even after 10,000 years. Boom! And Njongho turned into a god demon. Every muscle on his body exploded. Every vein on his body was like a ferocious snake. With a wave of his hand, a skill was sent down. The space in front of him collapsed, and the mountain range below was flattened. Anger. Extreme anger. God fiends were proud. Moreover, this was a god demon at the peak of profound grandmaster level. How could Njongho swallow being looked down upon like this? In addition to the young master's death, he was already filled with anger and was on the verge of exploding. Now that he was provoked, killing intent filled his head. If this was any other time, Njongho wouldn't be so angry because of a little brat. Why do you have to be so violent? Look, you killed all the beasts in the mountain range. What a sin! Lin Fei's expression was one of pity and melancholy. And Njongho's face alternated between green and red. Killing intent, endless killing intent. Skill, 5 lightnings. At Njongho's brow, red light flashed and a green vertical eye formed. When it opened, lightning flashed. With a wave of his hand, it covered the area where Lin Fei was. The sky instantly darkened. Rumble, bucket-thick lightning bolts kept falling. The area he was in instantly became a minefield. Rumble, rumble, the thunder didn't stop and everything was destroyed. Wherever the lightning passed, there was no sign of life. Under the power of the divine thunder, there was no longer any existence. Everything was completely destroyed. Hua, la la, the water-fire lotus appeared above Lin Fei's head. Every single bolt of lightning brought with it a terrifying aura of destruction. The water-fire lotus was blasted to 8 or 9 layers on the spot, making it difficult for it to advance any further. With a thought from Lin Fei, the lotus leaf grew once more, blocking the fiend god Njongho's divine ability. This was the benefit of being strengthened. Haha, so this is your attack? You can't even break through my defense. And Njongho was consumed by anger. Spear of punishment. Its huge body moved, and it grabbed a black spear from the void. The spearhead glowed with a black light, and it exuded a boundless, dangerous aura. This was another of Njongho's thaumaturgies. Brother, and be careful. Don't fall for it. Feeling that something was amiss, the whole void at the back warned Zhang Xian. Just a little brat, watch me destroy him. And Njongho thought nothing of it as the black spear in his hand shot out. The void flowed like water, immediately splitting it into 2 as it stabbed at Lin Fei. Lin Fei was also surprised by Njongho's endless means. Be it the divine power from before, 5-blow thunderstruck, or this divine power, they were extremely powerful and had astounding lethality. God fiends are indeed powerful. Their divine powers are powerful as well. Godslaying. Lin Fei did not dodge this time. His intrinsic flying sword flew out as he cast the second stance of God-slaying fiend vanquishing. A huge black kill word appeared. It reigned supreme over the world, slaying gods and vanquishing fiends. There was nothing it couldn't kill and nothing it couldn't vanquish. The sharp sword intent stabbed straight at the god fiend's heart. And Njongho was surprised. Sword immortal. You are actually a sword immortal. So what if your sword intent is domineering? God fiends are lawless and fearless. Your sword intent is useless against me. Boom! The spear of punishment and the kill word clashed. Whoosh! The surrounding void was torn open by this force. What a powerful divine power. They are evenly matched. Lin Fei was alarmed. God fiends were indeed powerful. Heaven splitter divine needle. Immediately, Lin Fei cast the consumable heaven splitter divine needle in preparation to tear open Njongho's body. So, The black needle whizzed through the void like a mirror. One by one it tore through the void. The fragments were like clouds as they headed straight for Njongho's face. Scram! And Njongho thought nothing of it as he swung his palm the size of a futon. The moment the two clashed, he targeted the palm that had been pierced by the heaven-splitter divine needle. His flesh and skin tore open as the wound spread. What is this? And Njongho was alarmed as he used his god-fiend powers to recover. His shattered arm was left with only white bone. It was as though the middle had been severed, preventing him from recovering. The heaven-splitter divine needle charged forward once again, and Njongho did not have time to recover. He opened his mouth and spat out a tooth that transformed into a black boulder. The god-fiend aura emanated. God-fiend tooth, block for me. Bam! Bam! The heaven-splitter divine needle was indomitable. After the third attack, the heaven-splitter divine needle was blocked. Haha! We god-fiends are the darlings of the world. No matter how powerful your treasure is, don't even think of breaking through my god-fiend body. And Njongho laughed fearlessly. God-fiends are indeed stupid. Look at the top of your head. And Njongho looked up, and a dazzling jingguang appeared in his eyes. He couldn't see what was above him. He immediately sank and prepared to fly out. This was the soul-destroying golden spear that Lin Fei had prepared for godfiends. The golden spear transformed into a golden dragon. The jingguang flourished as it charged down from above, releasing a terrifying aura. And Njongho's expression finally changed. The golden dragon made him feel a terrifying sense of danger. It had been many years since he had experienced such danger, and Njongho couldn't remember. 1,000 years ago, 5,000 years seemed very long ago. At that moment, his greater teleportation was restricted. I am a god-fiend, the darlings of the world. A human wants to kill me? Dream on. And Njongho looked up, his iron fists ferocious. God-fiend breaks the heavens. God-fiends don't die. Break, 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 and Njongho was furious. Unfortunately, and Njongho was wrong this time, the soul-destroying golden spear had immense power and power. Bang, 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 and Njongho's iron fists landed on the golden dragon's body. If it was anyone else, a mystique venerable rank would be injured by a punch from a god-fiend. Xianzong was instantly killed. Not to mention a golden dragon, it would be completely destroyed. The 3 extremely domineering punches only shook the golden dragon's body. It wasn't broken. With a long roar, it landed on the god-fiend's head. Its 9 claws pulled and bit down on the soul. And Njongho struggled in soul form, but this was the soul-destroying golden spear. It swallowed him in one bite. God-fiends don't die. And Njongho's unwillingness came from the golden dragon. Having lost his soul, and Njongho's eyes were blank and lifeless. He had become an idiot, but his body still had a large amount of life energy.